Kia ora and welcome along to week number 4 of the Oceanic Challenger League for Rainbow Six Siege. My name is Matt Smite Ross, and you guys know what? You loved him so much the last few weeks. I thought I'd bring him back for more. Billy Blue Panda, Brereton, welcome back to the show, mate. We're almost halfway there.
Yeah, we're going to be crossing over the halfway point this week, and I mean, we've got another great lineup of matches here tonight. There's going to be a lot of weight on some of the teams to step up, pick up some big wins, so it's going to be interesting whether or not they can find that ground, find that momentum they need to pick up those wins tonight and give themselves a shot at playoffs going for the rest of the season. But, I mean, look, the big question is, how do we get here? How did we find ourselves in this position, and what is this the end of the road? No. The answer is obviously no. There is much more to this than just the OCL. And, well, I mean, you might know how things work around here, but we'll give you another run-through of how this whole OCL-OCN setup works.
Yeah, don't worry. Our good friends have hooked us up with something nice and easy to digest. So take a seat, take a breather, and get ready for the show tonight while we tell you how it all works.
Welcome to Rainbow Six Esports for Oceania in 2021. We're proud to share with you the timeline for our 2021 season and the format of our Oceanic Leagues throughout the year. Through a sustainable approach to the region, we now have 2 clearly defined tiers and a proper flow through from our newly created Oceanic Challenger League to our returning Oceanic Nationals. Both leagues will meet for 3 stages in the year-long season, with participating teams accumulating points based on results from each stage. So how exactly will each stage be played out? We have 8 teams per league, playing single round robin best of ones with overtime. A regular win is rewarded with 3 points, while a loss gives 0. When the 2 teams fight up into overtime, the winner gets 2 points, while the loser gets 1. At the end of each stage, the top 5 teams will qualify into our new gauntlet format playoffs, while the remainder of the teams will have their placements and points locked in. Playoffs for both OCN and OCL will be best of 3s, with best of 5 grand finals. At the conclusion of each stage, teams will be allocated points based on their final standings. For OCN teams, the conclusion of Stage 3 will show us which teams have earned enough points to enter a promotion relegation tournament and fight for a chance to enter the Asia Pacific Regional League, whereas OCL teams that accumulated enough points will have their promotion opportunity into the Nationals, OCN. For both OCN and OCL, the top teams from each league will compete in seasonal finals to be held on LAN, where we will crown a champion in each league. This will be a great opportunity to celebrate Rainbow Six Esports in Oceania and come together as a community. We will have more information on these events later this year. Ubisoft's commitment to the growth and sustainability of esports in the Oceanic region is higher than ever, with 2 exciting leagues of 8 teams, broadcasting over 9 months of the year, and direct pathways through to the coveted APAC League and ultimately the 6th Invitational. Opportunities are abundant for players in Oceania. You won't want to miss this exhilarating year of R6 Esports, so follow us at R6 Esports OCE to stay up to date with our season, support your favorite teams, and catch exciting content from the best players in Oceania.
And there we have it. Now it all makes sense. All very crystal clear to you guys, I imagine. So no more excuses. You all know how it works. Unless you sat down like right this very second and haven't watched anything else, then you have an excuse. But everyone else, you know how it all works. You know the pathway up, down, all the way around here. But Panda, we're talking about the OCL tonight, the Challenger League. And well, with where we're at, how we're shaping up.
I mean, at the moment, we've had some interesting results on the whole. We've had some teams that we expected to do well who haven't quite found that momentum they needed, found their feet underneath them, and then we've had a couple of teams who, well, they were coming to the competition. We didn't expect a huge amount out of them, and they've come out of that gate swinging. We've seen some very interesting upsets throughout the run, but there is one team who, at the moment, still standing top of the table, have been almost uncontested as Skyfires. So they're looking to keep that momentum going. They want to keep themselves sitting in first place at the moment, and well, we'll see if they can do it tonight.
Yeah, well, we've got to remember what first place might get them at the end of the split, right? Is that prize pool, of course. $10,000 up for grabs in the first stage. And right at the very top, first place, $4,500. That's almost half the whole prize pool. But you very clever viewers at home will be noticing that the prize money does go all the way down to 5th place. So all teams that make it to playoffs will also be making it in the money. So real good to see that all the teams that are working hard and get rewarded not just with the chance for a bit of glory, Panda, but a whole bit of cash as well, or guaranteed almost.
Yeah, a decent chunk of sustainability. It's $10,000 per split as well, and we have 3 of those in 2021. So a decent amount of money to be made on the whole. Then, not to mention, progression into OCN and what the benefits that brings. Then even from there, if you can progress all the way through the OCN, you get a chance at competing in APAC South as well. So there's an endless road ahead of these guys if they can take out first spot, if they can win the season and promote into OCN. So it's genuinely exciting, the amount of opportunities now on the table here in OCN. And, well, it's anyone's game at the moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, we're 3 weeks deep, and now we keep talking about where everyone is on the leaderboard, how it's opened up. So let's take a good actual look at it right now. As you mentioned before, Skyfire sitting there at the top, the only team to get that 3-0. Then you've got Donut, LFO, and Big Dogs. They scored a 2-1 apiece. But then, look at this. 5 teams, Fury, Exto, Pride, Swingsman, and Hackuations, all with a 1-2 record. But as you can see, some of these wins would have been in overtime. So it ranges from 5 points down to 2 at the bottom.
Yeah, there's been some hard-fought matches. There's been some matches that didn't quite go the way we expected in terms of just how one-sided they were. And we had a couple of those last week as well. So coming into this week, I've talked to a couple of the players, a couple of the teams, and there's definitely a lot of tension coming into this. They want to bounce back from some of those subpar performances last week and take away these big wins. They said they owe it to the fans. They want to be performing top of the table as best they can. So I'm definitely intrigued to see if they can bring that in. Because at the moment, like you said, there are 5 teams currently sitting 1 and 2, and there are still 12 points in total up for grabs for all the teams at this stage. So anyone can still secure first place.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget as well, a lot of them are going to be aiming for at least that 5th place spot, remember? Because they want to get into the playoffs. That's where all the magic can happen. So it doesn't matter if you finish the season 5th. If you go hard in the gauntlet, then, well, all your dreams can come true despite how the season went. But that is where I think a big cutoff is going to be. The other one being probably cracking into that top 3 will be important. But enough from us here about the leaderboard. Let's talk about the matches we've got on tonight. So first up, we've got Swingsman versus Skyfire to see if Skyfire will hold their spot at the top. Then you've got Big Dogs versus Fury. Now, personally, I'm looking forward to that one. Following up after those matches, we've still got 2 quality ones, Pride versus Hackuations, and then to round things out, Exto Gaming versus Donut LFO. So, Panda, I mean, look, I've already said that I'm pretty keen for that Fury Big Dogs match. Which one stands out for you?
Look, they're all some interesting ones, yes. Particularly the Big Dogs versus Fury. Both teams, they have had a rather unfortunate last week. Especially for the Big Dogs, it didn't go the way they wanted. Fury as well, they fell short, just short in overtime against Skyfire. So they're both looking to bounce back here in this week. But I mean, Pride, another team that is looking to bounce back as well. They realistically should be able to pick up a win here. Plus Exto, who finally got themselves on the leaderboard. There are teams who are trying to build up those points at this stage.
Man, I'm keen to see a lot of the matches for sure, but we have our first one ready to go. So let's take a look at the first team in this one. It's the Swingsmen, Jeff Kage, Jake Kinsey, and Lonely. Now, Panda, these guys, I think they're looking for something to start turning around. Is it going to be this week now that they're against Skyfire?
I mean, look, this is a team who it really just depends on the day where they land, because at the moment, it's not how good the team is that determines the result, it's how consistent they are. Consistency has been the biggest issue across the board. At the moment, Skyfire has been the most consistent. There's a reason they're 3-0 at Swingsman. They have picked themselves up a win. They've had 2 very week 1 was a bit of a blowout against Big Dogs, but week 3 they almost brought it back. They almost took that win. They just weren't able to take it away from Pride at the end. So there is potential here.
Well, potential might be exactly what they're looking for, because their opponents are no slouches. It's Skyfire, top of the table, MT Jax, Dragos, Broken, Seppi, and Kaken. Panda, top of the table team. Why are they top of the table team?
I mean, like I said, consistency is the name of the game, and Skyfire have been the most consistent team. They play a slightly less conventional style of Siege, but it does work for them. And the way that they approach things, the way they secure themselves these victories is because they execute cohesively. They play off of each other. and while it's slightly less conventional in some of the spreads they do, it has worked on the whole. They've only been taken to overtime once. The other two matches they've played in this competition so far, it was a 7-3 and a 7-2. So the closest they've come to a loss is against Fury last week.
Yeah, I mean, we thought that one was definitely going to go the distance. We'll see if it does tonight. One way that it could be is always in that 1v1. We have had a few games actually come right down to our 1v1, so maybe this could be it too. But Jeff and Kaken are going to be put up against each other. So two players that fulfill some similar roles, Panda, but who brings the most to their team?
I mean, at the moment, in terms of statistics, pure statistics, Kaken, he's topping the board. Highest rating overall, highest kill differential, sporting a kill-death ratio of 2.29 at the moment. He has consistently been involved despite being the support for his team. In fact, he's sporting one of the highest costs as well on the whole, 79% across the board. That's the reason I picked him here tonight. He's just been putting up some insane numbers. But then you look at the other side of the card. You've got Jeff, who, despite some of the unfortunate performances, says the man in the last 2 weeks has put up 16 kills each match. He is one of the few players currently sporting a 1.0 kill per round rating. He is definitely putting in the hard yards here for Swingsman. The big question is, can the rest of the team step up to join him? Because if they can, there is a good chance they can test Skyfire tonight.
And man, Panda, how much would that change up the leaderboard, though? If they take down Skyfire, that means no one's safe at all. We kind of got that feeling last week when the big dogs finally went down, but if Skyfire gets taken down by Swingsman, I think that just makes absolutely any position completely fair game. Now, we also get to find out what map we're going to be playing on, and oh my word, it's not Clubhouse, it's not Oregon, it's Cafe Dostoevsky. It is the one that you say it usually would be if it's not the other two, but what does this mean? Is this going to be much different for us?
This has to be a little bit concerning for the Swingsman because historically this has been one of the best maps for the boys on Skyfire when they were playing as Bulk and Ratnichi. Their playstyle does work very, very well on this map. And it is a map where we do sometimes see that signature coming out for MTJax. We could see the pulse coming into effect here, but it's such an interesting position that Skyfire have had through this competition. It has been an operator that they can use to bait bans and free up other operators on the table. So, I mean, it's unfortunate, I think, for a lot of these teams that while they have to target it because they know how capable MTJax is on it, his depth of operator pool is so insane that it doesn't really matter if it is banned out.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of defensive operators that you're always really keen to ban. I mean, on Cafe, I know teams like to focus on the mirror ban. There's a lot of really great Valkyrie spots. Teams like to mess around with Kaid. So plenty of things that you don't want to have to just throw a pulse ban on. And I think that's just one of the best strengths about having a pocket pick like that is just whether or not the other team thinks it's going to be effective is that there is always going to be that question like, oh, should we probably ban it? Like, what happens if we don't ban it? But I guess we'll get to find out, Panda, because the game has now started, and I'm keen to see if the first one is just going to go straight over to a pulse ban.
Well, there's a number of options on a map like Cafe Dostoevsky. I'm anticipating something like a Nomad coming out as an attacker bad, probably paired with a Thatcher or a Maverick as well. Nomad is just so instrumental in denying that roam potential. You want to be able to free that up as a defender. Swingsman, they might be the ones to do it themselves. So it is going to be a Thatcher from them. Skyfire, if they do ban out this Nomad, their defensive half is going to be very, very scary. But the question is, do they go for that? Do we see something like a Jackal come out? It's really anyone's guess. And, well, it's going to be an Iana instead.
I quite like this, right? It's being used by a lot of people on this map, especially with the addition of the Gone 6. You bring just that extra little utility. You've got 2 frag grenades as well. Pretty crazy stuff. The mute ban is where things are going to get pretty interesting, though. Even Jeff is a little put off by it. I mean, okay, tell us, Panda, what's going on? What's the mute ban all about?
I think this is Skyfire. They're looking to blow this entirely wide open mirror. We've only had 2 conventional bans, and both of them are on the side of Skyfire. They are obviously coming into this matchup with a plan. Mute is an operator that has played very, very well. Swingsman, they like the SAS duo. Jeff and Kaken will pick up the mute and the smoke as well. And taking the mute off the board, it's such an integral pick. It enables so much on the roam. You're looking at that depth of roam with the mute Mozzie combo. It's not going to be there anymore. Also, it's just free information that is going to be now available to Skyfire. And already we see the Mozzie coming out because they will need to deny that information. And then on the other side of it, you see Nomad coming out for Skyfire. This could be an incredibly oppressed Swingsman here in the first half.
Yeah, that is the thing, right? Is that with Skyfire's ban on Iana, is now Nomad's open. They know they're attacking first, so they can actually take advantage of that. So again, I kind of like that, throwing it in. Skyfire are, from up to now, have been quite a by-the-books kind of team. They don't never do anything too crazy, especially in terms of execution, but it's really just down to, you know, how they nail their mechanics. In this one, though, the bans definitely show that they're at least researching their opponents, although from how Swingsmen were talking, I feel like maybe they baited them with some research. I don't know. I would love to find out what some of these players are thinking about, because those bans certainly got a lot of attention from the other side as well. So keen to see what Swingsmen have got if it's not the mute.
5 seconds left.
Well, I mean, it has to be targeted. Jeff is not going to be able to play the mute at all. They like the SAS duo. It's taken off the board, which means, I mean, he's got the Valkyrie, which is another strong operator on this map. But the fact that they don't have another one of those SMG-wielding M590 operators, it's information that will be freely given over to Skyfire. This could be brutal. This could be very, very brutal in the way Skyfire like to play. It's a spread 1-4 split where Dragos goes off on his own, or the remaining 4 members of Skyfire coordinate and execute onto the bomb site. I think we're going to see a very, very crippled Swingsman roster.
Yeah, well, coming into round number 1, Skyfire going from a very top-down approach to head down towards the kitchen, and Lonely's going to be probably their first point of contact. Actually, Jeff, who had to ninja his way on out of there and may have been spotted by a drone, perhaps. I think he got that one before it, did see it, can link back up with Lonely. So looks like they're going to give up that territory pretty freely. Not too surprising considering they're all the way down in the basement, but we can see Skyfire, yeah, they're slowly moving throughout the top floor, but they're being cautious about it.
They need to keep control of this vertical, though. They need to be holding up here in mining and train. And there we go. Jeff off the board early, broken to be the one to take it away. Zofia, he's proved himself very, very capable on the entry. Big pickup there, taking that Valkyrie off the board, taking the Nitro cell off the board. They can now start to pressure that vertical because only Lonely and Kage have the Nitros, and now it's only Kage as Seppi finds Lonely as well.
And that's just giving them the next 2 floors of territory control, right? Now Skyfire can set everything they need to up. Although Kinsey will be a little bit of a thorn in the side there, finding Jax. Not too sure exactly where that one came from, but that's going to be quite annoying depending on how many air jabs he managed to get set up. I'd say possibly 1 that he got set up upstairs, but I don't think there's going to be anything else left. So a pretty valuable thing to take off if that's up to 2 air jabs now gone.
A lot of utility left, but it's going to be a hard task here for the Swingsman to bring it back. 3 versus 4, so not entirely impossible, but with Seppi still online, the vertical comes into play, and Dragos again doing his own thing, finds 2. Kage and Kinsey 4 to the headshots, coat room control given up as well. And Skyfire are doing a phenomenal job at this top-down clear. Very accelerated, very clean, with losing only the 1 player of NT Jax. They're looking good to get into the bomb site and contest Jakku. Very much on his own right now. He can try to cover multiple angles. He can feel the pressure mounting in, players on all sides, and he's no longer as safe as he was moments ago. They're going for the smoke plays, they're going for those shots through the wall, but he's just going to have to dump utility, buy time if he can, and play it off the clock. But there's players all around, and Dragos with a big 3-piece in round number 1 to kick things off here for Skyfire.
Yeah, I mean, look, once they lost the full control of the second floor, it was kind of over from there, and it was done pretty quickly. Skyfire had full control up on the top floor, so they could easily take control of some white stairs where the first frag did end up happening. And with that, I mean, look, a pretty solid win there at the end. You could see by the time they'd set it all up, only a lone smoke player to defend. Doesn't matter if he's got all 3 babes in the pocket. It's basically impossible at that stage. So all things considered, a by-the-books kind of win there for Skyfire. Nothing special, nothing crazy.
Speaking of nothing crazy, it looks like we are going to be heading up to the second floor, and Lonely
yes.
will be bringing the Doc into play, as well as Jake. 6 picking off the Goyo onto the Clash. This is going to be interesting, given how efficient Skyfire were with that top-down clear. This Clash is going to have to be positioned quite cleanly, and I would anticipate we're probably going to see some spawn peak shenanigans coming out here with the Doc in play as well. They're going to be looking to be the aggressors in this round if they can. Take someone key off the board early could enable Swingsman to pick up a round.
Well, let them do it for Skyfire in the previous round. A very quick frag coming onto that one. I wonder if, maybe Lonely is looking for a little bit of revenge there, picking up the Doc. A little bit harder to spawn pick with, as historically, but you can see him now sitting over at the window. He's just going to wait and see for his moments, but I imagine Skyfire are going to be pretty prepared for this one. I don't think they're going to be walking into any kind of traps like that. The other surprises coming up, oh, hang on, because it's actually going to be Jeff to find Seppi first. Well, all right, the Vigil picking up the first kill very quickly indeed.
Onto the sledge, no less, as well. That vertical control going to be a little bit harder to contest now for Skyfire. They still have the Ash and the Zofia on the board, and they have already shown that they've run breaching charges in round number 1. So probably going to see that coming out again. There we go. Dragos does have it. Upside down repel onto Piano, but nothing found just yet. They're stacking up on Pixel. This is dirty. Kinsey and Jake teaming up for that Pixel angle behind the CCS shield. They are doubling down this vertical positioning. Only one player on the bomb site for the moment. And this angle is so ruthless. If Kinsey can find just the pixel he needs, the head spotted, so he might be able to find it, but I don't think they're going to risk it on the side of Skyfire.
Imagine how much nicer this would be if Seppi was alive. 2 frag grenades they could be using it on this. And I mean, look, there's not even an ADS, right? So these flashbangs are just going straight through, but they can still stick around. So a bit awkward for Skyfire to deal with. You can see they have to approach it from a different angle just because of not having those frag grenades. And so they have forced them into a few different spots, but now you can see they're moving around and just getting caught out in other places too, as Kinsey's actually come up to the white hall to get the next frag done, and that's onto Broken. Sophia off the board. That's utility they're really going to need soon.
Well, starting to be opened up though. So Swingsman not in the most secure positions. They are going to have to really win their gunfights in cargo with the TCSG. That's a bold angle to be watching from White Stairs, especially given that it's Dragos who was the one contesting it originally. Oh, this could be rough. He's got 2 players watching the cross. Kaken might be the one to blow things open, but it's CCS shield again, slowing things down. Doesn't matter. Clicks the header lonely. That's exactly what you're looking for. Take the dock off. No more stim. No more sustainability. The question now is, though, how do they deal with this clash?
Yeah, they're going to have to deal with it quickly, and maybe they're doing that right now as Dragos gets traded out, but they still have a little more work to do. That clash ever so annoying. Only 2 people go in. Gaken takes a whole lot, but it's his team that gets the 2 frags. Only Jeff remains. He's hunting down by the brown stairs. Will be able to at least get back to the site, but in a 1v2 situation, caught out in the hallway. Skyfire clean that round up.
Despite a phenomenal start for the boys on the Swingsman, they just can't close it out, unfortunately. And this is that prowess that we've seen from Skyfire week in, week out. Even when they were taken to OT by Fury, they still pulled it back. They won both overtime rounds and shut the map out. Swingsman, they are going to have to dig exceptionally deep. And I think Jeff being forced off what his traditional operator usually is, the likes of the smoke, the likes of the mute, onto what we've seen now, a Valkyrie, a Vigil, and what could be a Cade. He's struggling. He's not hitting the shots we've seen him do previously, and I think it's just because they're not practicing with him on these operators.
Yeah, I mean, that said, though, he has pulled his weight so far in the at least in the last round, right? He got that opening frag onto the sledge, no less, so that definitely bought them a whole lot more time, like I was mentioning. But I like the Swingsman approach, but Skyfire, they were probably a bit slower for my liking, but they managed to work out exactly what they wanted to do to get around it. They managed to brute force them back into a bit of a corner, go for some pretty aggressive swings and pull it out that way. But I like how Swingsmen were trying out something new, trying out something a little different to perhaps catch them off guard, and on a site that maybe they don't worry so much if it doesn't go their way, right? Now they've got the top floor site. They can rely on this one for a little bit more standard stuff because everyone's done this one a million times. It feels kind of like home.
Well, given the setup that we're seeing at the moment, it is going to be an aggressive backstock hold into Piano, it seems. They've got the Goyo online, they've got the Maestro as well. Going to be positioned over Cocktail, I wouldn't be surprised at all, but look at that, Jeff. He's the one on the roam this time around the K. Not something you often see. It looks like he's going to be going for that Electro Claw below as well. Trying to lock out top red, trying to slow down the progression of Skyfire, who, despite that last round being a bit slower, have been rather consistent and getting themselves in position for that execute early. Skyfire, though, look, they're just not showing any signs of easing up.
No, they're all very quick as well. Like, I imagine they'll be able to get through some of these hatches reasonably quickly. It's going to be a bit more difficult without the Iana, which is probably a big reason for the ban on this site specifically, right? You can drop it down the hatch. You can see basically immediately where everyone is. It's a free drone, no problemo at all. They do also have the Nomad, which is great for when you're dropping red stairs. In fact, both stairs, right? You're able to just fully block them off entirely. So Skyfire also have that going for them. Here's going to be the test, of course, though, is how long can they hold out Piano, right? How long can they keep a position of Whitehall? Looks like not for long, as Lonely's going to be the first to drop right from the white window. You could tell they were worrying about that before, but one split second of turning their backs and they're punished.
Well, Drago's going to drop into Red Hatch as well. He's straight in, ready to go, dealing with this utility below the skylight. That's one Evil Eye Cam off the board. They didn't have the coverage they needed to stop it. Look at the drones so deep into the bomb site. They can start to open things up quite cleanly, quite aggressively, and already they're straight in. They're getting control of Piano as well. This is efficiency that we have not seen very often so far in the Oceanic Challenge League. You can feel Swingsman, they're struggling, they're floundering a little bit, and there we go, Kaken finds Kenzie as well. They just whittle down the numbers. Unfortunately, can't find the follow-up onto Jeff, who, again, that standout player for the Swingsman. Kage chimes in for another Dragos to fall, and it leaves it at a 3v3 with just over a minute to play.
Yeah, that's such a strong position they still have over in the White Hall. They've got the bathroom still as theirs too, so for Skyfire, they almost have to just go the complete opposite way. They can't really rely on it. Maybe leave a flank drone, that's about it. But there's only a minute to go. They've got a 3v3 on their hands, and not impossible by any means, but Maestro can definitely be quite difficult to force out of his position if he doesn't want to leave. And the rest of the wall's pretty beefed up too, but Jake actually gets spotted out through the head holes there by Broken. And Kage as well in the background. Oh no, and Jeff too, all in a few seconds. Skyfire pick up another round.
The Swingsman, they're going to call the attack pause early. This one makes a lot of sense. They are definitely going to need this time to breathe, recuperate, because it is a flawless attacking rotation of bomb sites. Not something you see very often in Cafe Dostoevsky. It is more often than not defender-sided, but Skyfire, like I said, this is the map they love. This is a map that they will gladly go to. And there is the desperation. You can just feel it coming out of the swings when they just don't seem to have an answer. Even when it is a position they can actively contest, they can't. They just get swept aside. The gunplay, the strategic approach to this map, it's all going in favor of Skyfire. And I think this could be one of the most one-sided maps we see this season.
The tack pause as well. It's definitely one of the breather ones where you just take a moment to sit back and think about, okay, we are getting steamrolled here a little bit. Let's just figure out what to do here, because yeah, at this point it feels like Skyfire just 100% have the number of the Swingsmen for now. There's no way, if things keep going the way they are right now, that Skyfire even really drop another round. They're not even really coming too close to that. There's a few trade backs coming out from Swingsmen, but we need to see more of what we're seeing out of Jeff in a few of the earlier rounds, where he picks up those kills like pretty early and for free, importantly. If we see a bit more of that, then maybe that Swingsman way back in. But yeah, whatever that tack pause was about, it had to be very impactful to really swing this round back in their favor.
Well, you mean you do get that addition now with the change to the competitive rule set. Tack pause, 45 seconds for you to sit and talk with the coach. As far as I know, I don't believe the Swingsman... Oh, I don't think they have an actual coach, but it's that time they can sit and talk about what's going on, figure out how they want to approach it going into the second part of the first half. And, well, we see very similar return to form as we saw in the first round, but Castle, that's the big change up that we're seeing in this one. They're going to be going for sort of an extension, a vertical lockout as well. So we've seen Swingsmen go for these less conventional styles of play, but against a team like Skyfire, who just thrive on this uncertainty and can adapt on the fly, it's going to be rough. It is going to be very rough for them to still bring this out.
Yeah, and you can tell that they're very much dedicating to the second floor because they've blown out the hatches as well for their own quick retreat onto the site. But speaking of quick, Jeff, I ask and he delivers. He's set up another frag straight at the start for free. Nothing traded back, not even health. And so that's the Sophia now off the board incredibly early, barely touched the building. Swingsman, maybe the tack pause is right. They're just saying, hey, Jeff, more of those, please.
I think we're going to see potentially Swingsman here revert to a more ranked style of play. They're just going to go aggressive, find those spawn peaks, find those holds, and Jeff just almost catching the backside. I believe it was MT Jax on the Nomad. No, it was Dragos instead, his brother. The Ash player himself, frag grenade through the laundry hatch, is going to catch out the Banshee. Not quite close enough to find the heels of Jeff either, but look at this Skyfire. A minute burnt, and they are already progressing down to the first floor. They've done their job, cleared out those vertical angles. They're now going to try and go for the vertical play with that caber in hand. And Dragos, the drone information, the positioning, everything is so phenomenally well secured here for Skyfire that Swingsman, they are back foot playing right now. They don't have a clue how to handle this.
Which is crazy because they're the team with the man up at the moment. So you can just tell how hive mind Skyfire are. They're just working as a unit. Seppi finds his first victim, but it turns out he was the one hunted after all because it was Jeff that he found. But Dragos quickly will trade him back, but Swingsman hold that one-man advantage. Dragos looking to even that one up a little bit. Can't hit his mark though, and so the defenders will live a little bit longer. Another minute almost burnt here, Panda. Swingsman have almost made it.
Well, they are looking to play Kinsey on that Pika shelf where we saw the Hacky Oceans play in week number 1. But at the moment, still a minute on the board. It's still an entirely winnable situation for Skyfire despite the man disadvantage, the guns they have on board. This Nitro salvo for Kinsey. The pings are coming. They're waiting for Kaken to push in. Try and catch him out with this Nitro in that main hall. No one's going to be expecting someone to hold on top of the shelf. And there's a player close by. It's Dragos. It's thrown. It's the wrong way. So utility burnt there, but nothing found for it. Kaken will drop as well through the... Oh no, he's just pushed into train. That's rough. And all of a sudden, luckily, Dragos is there to refrag. They had no information that Lonely was pushing up that aggressively.
Oh, Dragos also has to go pick up that diffuser. No time to find any more frags through the holes in the floor. It's now time to push or drop onto the side. The player behind bar going to be too well positioned. Kage cleans that one up, and with just empty jacks left to go, Jake still with all his babes now popping off with 7 seconds to go. This should be in the bag. Jax tries his best, but will eventually drop. And Swingsman, they do indeed pick up a round.
They do bounce it back after the pause. And maybe it was the tech pause that brought them back into this. Who knows? Either way, just wasn't quite the same clean push that we've seen out of Skyfire previously. Jeff, very much a disruption factor in how that round played out. The early aggressive spawn pick, same as we saw in round number 2. He's bringing it out again. He then holds down reading, contesting those vertical angles out of Seppi. And I think this lion pick, I can't say for sure if we'll see it stuck out here. He might still 6-pick off onto the sledge, but this lion is very much in response to how vertically Swingsman are playing this.
Yeah, just constantly worried about players either below or beneath them, or just hanging around looking for a bullet hole or of some sort. But there it is, like you predicted. The 6-pick does swap over onto the sledge instead. But the idea is now planted in Swingsman's heads. They're thinking, all right, Skyfire are a little bit worried about a roam of some kind, but as you can see, I mean, Jeff, he's happy to go Vigil, right? Just pop the ERC7 whenever you want to not deal with Lions thing.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Doc coming out once again for Lonely. Last time, it didn't really find much, unfortunately. Kaken walked in the bar, saw him on Cocktail through those angles that had been opened up and just took him out. Hopefully positioning is going to be enough to get them around here, because they lose this one. It's going to be minimum 4-2 half for Skyfire. And Jeff, again, he's looking for another cheeky spawn peak. Can he find anything to open up this round? Not spotting much of anything. I think Skyfire, this is very much a case of once bitten, twice shy. Unfortunately, they've been bitten twice already. So a third time would just be crippling.
Yeah, there's no way they fall for that one again. In fact, I'm thinking they just spawn on the other side of the map anyway, so they will avoid the wrath of Jeff. But as we can see, he is rotating super hard around the building, just moving quite far away from the site. And so Skyfire, they'll get to live, but they still have to deal with him at some point. And I mean, they won't even have the line to help him at points. Oh man, Kinsey finding that one all the way out. That's a big threat that now they can just face this clash barrier forwards and not worry about what's behind them. At least until they deal with empty jacks. They've got to run out ready for this Panda, but he's ready for it instead, trying to force them back. Will not get killed, but Kinsey dies in the background. But Jax knows he's in danger. Will have to eventually get out of that position. He might live though.
Jeff was going for something aggressive, punished for it. Luckily, Lonely stayed alive in this round, so the Sims will be coming out. Seppi, at the moment, in Cigar Shop, was one at the clash. So they have that information of the positioning of that big shield. They now need to figure out some way to clean it out. They're going to push into backstock, start opening these walls. It gives them angles, gives them options in trying to deal with this real powerhouse threat They still have the lifeline utility as well, as they are trying to flush them out. Down below in pillars, it is Jeff again, looking for that angle. New Balkan, oh my god, good night, Kaken. Just sticks his head up too far. Kage finds one into empty jacks as well. This tech pause is already paying out dividends.
Yeah, and here's where the strategy pops in, right? They can all just jump right down. So sure, Skyfire, they may have taken the top floor, but now they've got a minute to make the best they can with it. They've only got 2 players, Broken and Seppi. They can certainly take advantage of any breaches in the floor for sure, but I mean, once they get into a 1v1 with Jake, when they have to deal with that clash shield, it's just so frustrating, especially as time ticks down. You can't rely on outnumbering them, especially when you've got the 2v4 situation. They're looking for any last second goodies here through the floor. A free frag would be beautiful. Any chance to even up the numbers, because when you are in a disadvantage and clashes on the other side, good luck getting a plant down.
The big question is, do they have any information at the moment that Jeff, he's in dark, he sees the back of 1, spots 2, he can't decide where to go, he whiffs the spray. Can he find the kill on a Seppi? No, it's Broken to take it away instead. A huge whiff from that could give Skyfire the avenue back into this, rotating in through Laundry. Unfortunately, it is Seppi to go down. Pushing in from Train means they will pick up that kill as Lonely on the backside of the MP5. Doc, can he find anything here? He's being tagged up further and further. Broken's still in this, but time is not on his side. Kage will be the one to steal it away with the TCSG. Swingsman, they bring it back. That's 2 in a row now. They have to head upstairs to third bar. And, well, unfortunately, it just did not go their way.
Oh, man, but you could see that that did actually come a little bit close. Perhaps Swingsman getting a little confident because they do have the clash and they knew they could play around with time and still play the comp to their advantage. But all that said, right, is that they played the defense out beautifully. Jeff got the job done. He didn't even have to rely on the spawn peak this time. Just walked up, found the frag. Kage as well with the C4. Definitely beautiful moves coming out from these men for keeping Swingsman alive. If they want to make this an even half, though, they're going to have to pick up 1 more in a row. Otherwise, they're facing down that 4-2, and then they'll see Skyfire on the defense.
That's where things start to get a bit wild. But at the moment, Swingsman, they're looking good. They might be able to find themselves that 3-3 half. And Jeff, you can see he's been hurting a little bit. Not having that mute on board will pick up the Warden instead with the M590. I would imagine he's probably going to be running that SMG-12 as well. It's not quite as good as the SMG-11, but is comparable nonetheless. He's been not quite as active as we've seen him previously. And Jake as well, very much struggling at the moment with not a single frag to his name. But Swingsman, they've come in tonight, they've come in swinging, and they are really pressuring Skyfire. We saw that happen last week against Fury. We might see it go to OT again here this week.
Yeah, but then you look over at what's happening for Skyfire is Dragos is popping off. He's the one picking up most of the frags, sitting on 7 currently, so he's picking up more than 1 per round. He's not dying a whole lot, so he's doing his job, right? And that's a really good if you're a Skyfire fan, seeing that happen, right? That's usually where they see the most success. Perhaps he'll do it 1 more time here on attack. I'm worried about when he gets onto defense, but like we said, it's Swingsman's final chance here. No spawn peaks have come out either, so they are walking into a full-on 5v5.
30 seconds already gone. They are droning out Dragos. Looking for that information. Last round we saw him taken out by Kinsey, and the breaching charge will be the bait play. Trying to convince Kinsey that that white stairs window is going to be the one contested. But look at that Skyfire positioning. They've got both hatches open. They're droning out. They can drop Skylight should they need to. It's probably not going to be the most advisable play, but the option is there. And we could see MT Jack setting himself up for that upside down rappel, deal with the player onto Pixel should he need to. And well, if they lose Lonely early, that's going to be a key position lost.
Dragos also, many positions that he can move to on those windows will be on the rappel at the same time as pre-open the white stairs window as well, so he can also get a very dirty angle down there as long as he clears out what's below, make sure he's all safe. Broken as well, sees the toes, so we'll be able to confidently hold that angle for now. But with half the round down,
oh, that's filthy.
Yeah.
That's filthy. Cigar box with bullet holes and an M590. He's going to open the hatch retreat, but it's Dragos to find Kinsey, but he's traded out immediately. Kage with the UMP-45 will get the kill back. And Well, unfortunately, Dragos off the board. That's utility not going to be able to be cleared throughout the rest of this round, but that's a big kill to find. Kinsey has been one of those key fraggers for the Swingsman, and his Skyfire pressure in. They're on U-Belt. They've got a minute to play with as they execute onto the bomb site. Kage down brown stairs, might be able to find that long angle, but he's pulled off at the worst possible time. Skyfire can go for the plan here.
Yeah, there's nothing really stopping them. Everyone's miles away from the site. Kage only running up now. Lonely's been cut off, and so has Jake. It's really just up to these two players as Jeff is getting melted from above on a slither of health. Kage knows that he's got to get the job done for sure, but look at all these angles, all these rotations, all being held all day long. And Skyfire, I mean, they just marched onto the site and planted.
Took control, they had the information they needed to enable that to go. And go it did. What a round for them to pick up to close out the half. 4-2 as they head into the defensive side. This could be very, very rough for the Swingsman, especially given that the MT Jack special is online. Should he choose to bring it out? I doubt we're going to see it here on the third floor. Probably if we head to kitchen, that is when we will see it start to come into play. But look at that, Kaken back on his smoke. This is an operator that he does an immense amount of work on in the defense, and I have to imagine there should be some real concern. And there we go, MT Jax with the 6 pick. Might bring it out, we never know. This could be the M1014 shotgun pulse main himself coming into play for the first time this season.
I mean, it'd only be disappointing to not see the shotgun come out after that, wouldn't you say? I'm so keen to finally see this one
It is
unleashed.
M1014 shotgun play coming out for MT Jax this round. He tried to sneak it away, but I saw it start.
Yeah,
There's going to be a jump out. He is going to spend some time outside the building on this one.
Yeah, I'm sure he's pulling his shotgun away to hide it from us straight away. He doesn't want to give the surprise away to the viewers, despite us constantly spoiling them about what's going to happen for this guy. But it is quite impressive to see it pop out on the very first round, right? Like you said, maybe it would come out on Kitchen, but it's straight out here. It's with a 6 pick. So this is where Skyfire really want to mess with their opponents here. Or maybe MT Jax is just like, finally, give me the chance to go for it. We're ahead. We're on Cafe. It makes sense. Give me the pulse.
The positioning he plays, it's terrifying. It's the only way to describe it. He will go for jump outs. He will play these angles, go for those aggressive contests where he can. And I have no doubt in my mind that he is either going to go 0 or 100. Nitro Cell was tossed. He was looking for it. They had opened up that corner. It's an audacious play. It's all about timing. Unfortunately, this time it didn't come out for him, but look at it. He's got the scanner out. He's looking for that information. He spotted Lonely below. They know exactly where 2, if not 3 of 5 attackers are, and he is just feeding that to his teammates right now.
Oh, catches the drop. That's a big one. He's going to be able to turn and just shoot with the shotgun, but misses his shots, and that was his golden moment, and it's taken away. Luckily, he does get out alive, which is honestly quite impressive. May even be able to go for the rotate here. Has the scanner to check it, but meanwhile, his team is being melted as Swingsmen are being melted. Jake being taken down first, but I want to see how MT Jax gets up here because they... oh no, he's got the ping, he's got the shotgun. I think we just have to wait here.
Oh, there we go.
See how it goes.
Oh no, he's whiffed it. He's going to have to run. Unfortunately, he can't escape. Jeff will put him down, but has no idea that he's done so. Points to disable here. So they don't know for sure that he is down. There is a potential that he gets picked up, but no, Jeff, he's going to sneak up brown stairs, confirm that kill. He just over-eagerly pulled that trigger just a second too early. That could have been a massive frag to find.
Well, at least we know now, if MT Jax is on that pulse, he will just go at the very first chance you give him. Kinsey under fire from Train. They've got the 2-man squad going in there, so they can indeed get the trade and even the res. So they keep the numbers high. But Panda, mate, look at those health bars. Swingsmen, they're on death's door for a lot of them, but they do have a numbers advantage. They've got 50 seconds to pull it off.
In a game like Siege, health bars, they can be irrelevant. If you hit your headshots, that's all you need. X-Kairo's below from Train. Will open up the hatch and they start the utility dump over towards Pixel, trying to flush the player sitting there out. Jeff with the frag grenades. He's been very, very good with them so far this season. Can he find a frag from below? And there we go. Kaken has no idea what hit him. Cooked to perfection, and all of a sudden, It is broken. It's Seppi to try and hold things down. 2 versus 4 situation. Player coming up white. Jeff wins it anyway. Triple kill for him in the round. 2 from the gun, 1 from the frag grenade. And it's broken left in a 1v4 situation.
Oh, that's the fuser.
First, can he find the second? He's looking for more. Yeah, he's got the Kiratos. Can't do it though, as Jeff will get the quad. Broken. Almost denying the round there.
Oh man, if he found a way to somehow get out of that alive, at least for another 10 seconds, that would have won the round for them there. But look, hey, all things considered, it's fine. Swingsman had a little bit of room to catch up anyways. They're now only 1 round behind, but who knows how that's going to go. The Skyfire defense, it was a bit wild because you had Empty Jack swinging basically every corner, every angle. He had an opportunity. The moment someone's right next to a soft wall, he's going for it. The moment someone's right around the corner, he's swinging it. So now that we know that that's going to pop out, surely Swingsman have worked out, all right, the pulse is probably going to get locked in here. Why would it not be?
Attackers need to locate.
We don't see a 6-pick out for the IQ. Well, MT Jax is going to be back on his shenanigans. He plays that red stair position very, very well. He can do a lot of work from it. We'll see whether or not he finds more success in round number 8. But last time, he just a little over-eager. Went too early on the trigger, and Jeff was able to frag out and found 4 on the hole. And just despite being so low for the majority of that round, putting in the big yards, and this is why Jeff was one of my players. Well, he's the player for Swingsman in the head-to-head matchup. Week 2 and 3, 16 frags each map is what he put up. In fact, in week number 2, each individual performance, he put up more frags than Swingsman got in week number 1 as a team.
I mean, we don't talk too much about week 1 Swingsman. That was yeah, they didn't have the best week 1 entry, but hey, maybe this one's looking a little better. Remember, we've been praising Skyfire so much, and deservedly so. Top of the table, and Swingsman are here, making them earn their win on Cafe, at least for now. They've gone 3 rounds, but here we go. Jax, oh no, don't do it to him, mate. All right, he is a little bit more cautious this time, but is still dangerously close to these hatch drop positions. He's waiting for perhaps maybe a drone to fall down. You could find one of those, but I'm sure we all know what he really wants. He wants the player to drop, and now he should have heard that one with the sound cue. Even sees it to confirm it, so do they bait him in? They should surely be expecting this one. More X-Kairos coming out from somewhere. I believe that was just the other hatch, but Empty Jax. Oh man, look, Kage's actually been dropped pretty low by something. And maybe it was a C4 because Jake's got a kill. Jake's been killed by Empty Jax with that Nitro Cell. He's made it work, Panda.
He just had to thread the needle down onto the landing of red stairs, and that's exactly what he does. He was just trying to find the opportunity, and he found it. Kage, though, heavily tagged up there, probably at the hands of Dragos, who had the other Nitro Cell in pocket. At the moment, we are going to slow things down a little bit as we head into the second half of round number 8 here. It's 5 versus 4 Skyfire again. They find that opener. They look to establish themselves in this round. And from here, they can really translate that into some big positional advantages. Kinsey from below could be a disrupting factor. Jeff there as well. No, Jeff all the way down on the first floor, in fact, looking to come up red to join with his teammates and get the diffuser back. That's a lot of ground that Swingsman have to cover, and they don't have a huge amount of time to work with.
Yeah, I feel like they would have set that up a little earlier, but perhaps being caught out. But with not too long to go, it's the frag from below again they're looking for. Jeff was pretty on point with it this time, but his spider sense is somehow tingling that he wouldn't get it and does move out away from it. Kinsey, the man that could have maybe brought this round back in Swingsman's favor, taken down as well. So now a full 5-man squad remains. And this time, Jeff won't find his freebie with the frag grenade. Instead, they now have to do it all the old-fashioned way. And Kage starts it off pretty well, but they're going to need to speed it up. And they don't have at least a lot of health bars on Kage. And now Jax, just swinging around down the stairs. He'll pick up the frag. That should be the nail in the coffin here for Swingsman.
4 vs 2, Kage can't find Kaken on the backside, and he will turn around and say, what did you say to me with that SMG-11? Lonely, left alone with 12 seconds on the clock. Has to push in on the new bulk, but there's really no avenue in. Doesn't have the diffuser either, and it's Dragos to find the final frag. And Skyfire, that's 5 rounds for them. They widen that gap yet again. They are 2 rounds away from proving what we expected to start this map off. Swingsman, they have made them work for it.
This time the C4s work out pretty well for Skyfire. I mean, the one just flat out getting the kill for Jax, but also crippling, I can't remember who it was, I think it was Kagan on the Hibana as well, being dropped down, sorry, not Hibana, Kage, I think it was on the Hibana. But anyway, crippled anyway, made it basically impossible for Swingsman from that point. So these are things which should be easy enough to work out, and just the binary, it either kills me or it doesn't, should be easy enough to avoid. But Empty Jacks will make it pretty difficult on the Pulse, but I don't see any adaptation, at least in terms of operator picks here, Panda. Maybe something being swapped out here. The Lion, though, is that going to be the trick to deal with the Pulse catching them every move?
Well, they're doubling down here on that flank watch. They've got the Zero in play as well. Those Argus cameras will fulfill a similar role. You don't need a flank drone if you've got an Argus camera in position, but you look at the tools on the board. Empty Jacks just sticking with it again. More shotgun pulse than we've seen. More pulse, in fact, I think, than we've seen in the last 3 rounds than we have all season so far. But you look at that Kaken, Dragos as well, bringing out the Cade and the Goyo respectively. Dragos as well, hitting his double digits. 10 frags under the belt for him. And then you look across bottom right, Jake. He's setting up the donut shop at the moment. 006. He's going for the James Bond special.
He wants to treat all of us, but he may be in a bit of trouble if the rounds go a little bit too long, because Swingsman, if they do pick up a few more, Jake is surely going to get a few frags in there at one point. I'm sure he got one earlier, but maybe it was just a trade back and he was the first one to fall. But regardless, still sitting on that big fat 0. So it is down a floor, but a lot of attention and defense is going to be still held up here on the 3rd floor by Bar and Cocktail. Swingsman going to have to clear all of that out nice and early. Kage actually bringing the Thermite this time, so an interesting one to adapt to, but there goes the EE1D. They're going to try and track everyone, but Empty Jacks doing a bit of tracking himself, and that's 2 members he's now got complete eyeballs on.
Just outside the window. Looking to get the television. He spots the 3rd one, yeah, just outside of that mining museum area. EE1D comes out yet again. We'll hold him in place, but the information's already there. Dragos, look at this positioning. He might be able to find something huge. Jeff opens up with a kill onto Seppi, and Empty Jacks tries to find something through the floor, but losing out on Seppi. That's unfortunate, but not irredeemable here for Skyfire. Look at the information that they are feeding through right now. They can just play around it, and Dragos down below with that Nitro cell might be able to capitalize. This is why you bring the Nitros. This is why you look for that pulse setup. He's not going to be the one looking for the Nitro. He's going to be the one feeding it through to his teammates, and if they can capitalize, no chance a plant goes out here for Swingsman.
Yeah, such an interesting sandwich to get the information on them. Dragos has revealed his position now, almost picking up the frag there, but does miss out on it. Baiting them into kitchen, though. They have to get him out of this fairly strong, fortified position. Otherwise, he's going to be a constant nuisance behind them. So they're really going to have to clear this one out pretty quickly. But even if he goes down, that's so much time he's bought. But they eventually find Empty Jacks. It's Jeff to hunt him down upstairs. EE1D all out now, so perhaps use that one, but now they can just get rid of everything upstairs, start making their way down to the actual site. Kinsey has been found, though, by Dragos, so still holding on to this one. Eventually now moving into the kitchen to find their lone member. They did down him indeed, but Dragos now confirmed down.
Taken and Broken, still alive, still in play, and with Kage and Jake tagged, it's not going to take a huge amount of work to finish them off. Things coming out across the board. Jake looking for what he can. He has finally got himself that frag on the board. It was a pickup from him down. He's going to avoid going 007 here today. Going for the pre-fire, going for the spray to the wall, but the pings are on the other side, down by the red stairs. Unfortunately, they lose Kage as well. Kaken will find it, and they're looking for even more. Not red stairs, white stairs. Sorry, I was wrong. With 20 seconds left in play, it's a 2 versus 2. They don't have any security in going for this plant. And in fact, Diffuser is in the hands of Jake, who is very much isolated. Lonely looking for the crossfire, can't find it from White. And Kaken just tucked in behind the couch. It's going to be Broken to go down, and it's all in the hands of Kaken right now. With 3 seconds left, that means it's Lonely to hold things up. Nitro cell toss. Is it going to be enough? No, doesn't find anything. Just opens up those long angles. Now, with 40 seconds left on the clock, he's the one who has to force something. Time is not in his favor. Spots the hit of Lonely. He's going to have to hunt this frag. Top of White. Can he do it? No. They're just playing the clock, playing the time. Lonely doesn't want to give up that advantage. And there we go. He's played Rig Around the Rosie. Drops down the hatch as well. Swingsman, they are playing this to perfection.
Yeah, I mean, I think he knows the jig is up. He's trying to find something. Maybe spotted a position on both of them. Down to one. Could be looking for the second one, but actually he was through the wall. Has to just go for the retake. But Jake should know he's got time on his side. Can just wait. Tries to go for the bait, but oh my word, the Matrix comes out from Jake and he stays alive to pick up the round for the Swingsman.
Another reprieve here. One round closing it out again. Jake does avoid the 007 in round number 9. But they, again, one round away from equalizing. We've seen Skyfire push to this position before. Fury were able to take them to OT. Unfortunately, just not able to close it out in the end. Given that Cafe is a map that plays historically so well for Skyfire, the fact that Swingsmen are coming in this week, they're playing it the way they are contesting it. You've got to wonder, have they got the tools to push it over the line? At the moment, it is the Jeff and Dragos show. The rest of the team, for each of them respectively, they have found a couple of frags, not the hugest amount, but they are the ones leading the charge. And I did say Jeff was going to be one of the key players here. Kagan, surprisingly quiet this time around.
Look, I think the important thing to note is that Swingsmen have picked up 2 rounds on both sides, so it's not like they're heavily favoring either side. They can do it on both attack and defense, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. Now it's just Skyfire close it out. Can they pick up one more round to at least guarantee that overtime, or do Swingsmen catch up? I think that's going to be the real interesting thing, because we could have said before the night began that a result like this, you know, maybe they only pick up 4 rounds. Swingsmen could probably be happy with that, but at this stage, got to imagine they're looking for at least that overtime, but more likely that win. I think Swingsmen themselves know that they can do it, so they'll be disappointed in any round they don't pick up here. Skyfire, they're still doing the same thing, so I know they've got a little bit more room to play with, but surely they're getting a bit worried too. They might be safe in the top spot for now, but I mean, if they lose this match or even just win it in overtime, how long can they stay at the top?
I mean, if they lose this one, they aren't secure at all. Donut LFO are only 1 point behind them for the moment, and Big Dogs only 1 point behind them. So there is entirely a world of possibility with Skyfire. If they lose this, are no longer top of the table after tonight. Oh, empty Jax! He's done it again! That's what he was looking for earlier on in the half. Unfortunately, he's going to be traded out. Second will go down as well. Kinsey, just a second too late to keep his teammate in it. Jake will hit the 7 deaths, but luckily he's got some kills on the board, so it's not the full James Bond special.
Man, I full-on thought that was just a soft breach blowing himself up, but I mean, of course, it's MT Jax. Nitro Cell from below. It does get punished for it though, won't go unanswered at all, but look at that, it's just a 2-for-1 at the moment. So, Swingsmen are still looking fairly good, right? They've lost Jake, a little annoying to have no Zafir, but the next target they should really be keeping an eye out for has got to be Dragos. The man's been having an excellent game so far, has been going hard on the frags, and actually just having an impact on basically every single round. They'll definitely want to find him. Going to be pretty annoying as the Goyo for sure, and he was actually fairly annoying in the last round as well, buying a lot of time for his team on defense, so I wonder if he'll be able to do the same thing. But all things considered, Panda, this is a 3v4. Is this hard for Skyfire?
Well, I mean, the players on board are ones that have stepped up in past weeks. And Dragos, with a long-range spray with the Vector and the Hollow as well, takes down Kinsey. Equalizes the score. It's back at a 3v3. Finds the drone and pillar as well. And there is one pillar door. Unfortunately, there's one coming from 90 hallway as well. Jeff in position. The VO5 will chime in. The big brother of that Vector of all things will find the frag. EE1D goes out again, as well as that exothermic charge. But look at that Kaken. He's stuck in reading. Broken was in laundry, providing some support. And oh, sees the feet. That's all you need. Broken takes the head off of Jeff to bring it back to a 2 versus 2. Lonely positioned around that reading room door. Kagan finds Cargate. Lonely is alone now. Diffuser down, and players watching it as well. Broken with a long-range spray. Doesn't quite tag up Lonely, but there's still the possibility that the comeback happens. SC3000 is a huge gun. We'll tag him up again, second time around. But look at this, the frustration. Lonely has no idea how to get in, how to contest these gunfights, especially with Kaken tucked into the corner behind the bomb chassis. 14 seconds left, and will he find anything? No, just desperation. Kaken turns around, loses his head. Can Broken take it? He's looking like he might, and there we go. Skyfire move on to map point here. Lonely, almost bringing it back there.
Yeah, that round felt maybe a little closer than it perhaps should have been, but Yeah, I mean, look, Skyfire, even with the numbers disadvantage, they still managed to claw their way back. Once they got it to the 2v2, you almost feel comfortable for them. You know, all right, these guys very likely to pull it out. Dragos drew so much attention onto himself. He was in an almost unwinnable position down once he made it to pillar, and then they had a big 3-man surround on him, but he's still picking off drones. He's still draining down that time. Big value coming out from the man there. And who's to forget as well, Empty Jack's a free frag at the start with that Nitro Cell. At this point, you've got to know something like that's coming for the Swingsman, because Skyfire have brought the pulse every single round.
And defuse as many bombs as they can.
I love it. I mean, it's the Empty Jack special. This is what he's known for. I mean, from tier 4 all the way up to tier 1, this is what Empty Jax is known for. He is the terror of rank who plays almost exclusively shotgun pods. So, I mean, why would you not bring out your special? Why would you not bring it out on your best map as well? And the way he's been putting it to work, it's not perfect, but it's still very, very clean. And it's finding some big impact frags. M1014 and Nitro Cell as well coming into effect. Swingsman, they don't have any more opportunities to make mistakes. They need to win the next 2 to take it to OT and get themselves at least the 1 point. But with the momentum we see Skyfire build, even off the 1 round, they can take this one in this round easy.
Yeah, I mean, they've clinched at least that 1 point, clinched that overtime. Always a big moment for a lot of teams. They have a little bit of room to mess around. Arguably, they've been doing that a bit with the Pulse already, but I feel like that's just fully part of their strategy now. Dragos, he was waiting for something. You can imagine, again, they love these free frags at the start. Both sides actually do, to be honest. So picking one of those up would have been great for him at that stage, but let's go a little further into it because it gets to start off as a 5v5. Things a little trickier when there is no Iana, when you're trying to drop down onto this bar site. Always very annoying. You can almost see the teams focusing a little more attention onto the cocktail windows and even the white hallway, right? A lot of frags have come out from the white hallway too.
First minute gone. Jeff looking to play that bullet hole on this Easton rappel. Can he find anything? Spots the ADS. Can he spot the player sitting in pixel? Oh, he just pulls up the angle. Oh, he spotted the head, but Seppi saw the pixel. No chance. No more EE1Ds, and even Jeff has to pay respect there. He was banned out from the mute. And oh, Seppi, no! Kage goes to re-aggress. How is Swingsman trying to take the same fight? They know he's there. They know he's clean when it comes to the headshots, and they've just freely given away 2 players.
They thought they could get him with the oldest trick in the book, the old surely he doesn't do it again. Surely they don't do the exact same thing again. Look, he's even baiting out another one, and he'd be perhaps correct because as he at least knows the defuser did drop over there, so someone should be showing up, and he is definitely rewarded. We'll probably want to have his cursor at the top because it's Kinsey on the downwards rappel instead. So he does eventually get tagged out there, but I mean, a lot of value brought out by the man on defense, Seppi getting those 2 for free, and now there's only a minute left for Swingsman to finish the job.
Dragos does have his Nitro sellouts pre-placed, but it's Empty Jax to find the next one. Again, another kill on the Jake. Broken will fall on the backside of it. Kinsey does refrag out, but look at Empty Jax. Oh, no! He has no idea Lonely's in cocktail balcony. This is rough. It's back in a 2v2. Kaken was able to do it last time around with the help of Broken, but the plant's going down here for Kinsey. Toxic canister thrown. It's not quite deep enough. Lonely being tagged up, being choked out. He finds a kill on a Dragos. He'll go down. It's Kinsey to go down. Lonely has a sliver of health. He needs to hit the headshot here. Kaken still has that toxic canister. If he can find an elbow, it's all done. He's tucked right in the back. Pings are there. They know where he is. Just a wall bang would be enough. And it's going to be the head to stand up anyway. Skyfire will take the map. Kaken, the man to close it out here. 7-4. Another hard-fought victory for the Skyfire boys. But, I mean, it looked like Swingsman might have been able to take it the whole distance.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing to take away from it, is that Swingsman definitely didn't make it easy. They did it on both sides, so it's not like they had a crazy, like, say, defensive half. In fact, it was actually, you know, quite a not so good one, at least to kick things off with. So they can be proud of the result for sure. They'll be gutted to not pick up any points, but I think that still, for us at least, shows, yeah, Skyfire, they can bleed. Maybe next week, though.
Well, I mean, that does give them an even more secure holding on first place. 11 points for them now after that victory, which means they are uncontestable in first place. No one can take it away from them again this week. Even if Donut LFO take the full, regulation win, it's going to get them 10. So, I mean, Sky5, they've got to be happy with that. Even though it did go a little bit deeper than they probably anticipated, it's still a victory on the board.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm keen to see a team just stay dominating at the very top, but eventually they're going to have to go down, Panda, but we'll have to wait till at least next week to find out if that does happen. But something we don't have to wait at least too much longer for is our next match. Coming up after the break, we've got a good one here. It's the Big Dogs seeing if they can take down Fury. welcome back everyone to the Oceanic Challenger League. It's Rainbow Six Siege, and we've just had game number 1 clean up. Skyfire, Panda, they're still at the top of the table.
Yeah, they're going to remain untouched here in week number 4. They're going to look to carry on their dominating streak. They want to take first place out in regular season, give themselves their best shot at picking up those points at the end of the gauntlet as well. But that was our first match. We have another one up next. It is going to be Big Dogs versus Fury on the cards here as well. And look, both teams, they unfortunately suffered losses last week. They not at all how they wanted to go. Fury, they almost took that victory away from Skyfire, and the Big Dogs just a completely uncharacteristic showing from them where they got swept out by Exto. I did actually get in touch with Big Boff and say, look, what went wrong there? And it was a combination of things. You know, they skipped a couple of practices. Oblivion had only scrimmed with them for like 2 maps before they got into week 3. And then obviously they're coming into that, their mood, everything was off. They just weren't gelling as a team. So they're looking to bounce back. They want to take this win away. They want to prove themselves to their fans and say, look, we deserve to be top of the table and we're going to prove why.
Well, I mean, look, let's take a look at these guys who do love their fans so much and want to give them the best results possible. It's Boff, King Grills, Little Bitty Pac-Man, Shaq, and Pants. So, yeah, look, Panda, you've already said these guys, they had a bit of a rough one last week. So what do they look like when they're good?
I mean, we saw it in the opening week, a 7-1 domination over the Swingsman. These guys are clean, crisp, coordinated when they need to be. Their individual mechanical prowess is nigh unchallengeable when they're playing on form. We've seen it before. Hopefully we get to see it again. But, I mean, the big question is, are their opponents, Fury, who will throw up now on the screen, going to be able to escape the curse? Can they break away from the 1-5 curse that seems to be following them throughout the season? Every single matchup that we've seen them play, as soon as we see Fury get 5 rounds on the board, it all starts to come apart from there. So hopefully, they can break up over that, make their way onto, map point and close it out here, because week in, week out, they get to 5 points, everything starts to go downhill. They've been brought back all the way to overtime. Week 1, they lost that. Week number 2, same thing. They just get absolutely demolished, and well, they need to do so. Actually, no, sorry. Week 2, they won. They won against Exto. But week 3, yeah, same thing. They get brought back from the brink. They then lose, and it's just heartbreaking to see.
It certainly is. I mean, especially a team that has quite a lot of fans like Fury. I know that they've got a big following, so a lot of people are going to be really keen to see them pick up a dub tonight. So let's see another way that they could be doing it in the featured player matchup. For Big Dogs, we've picked Pac-Man, of course, a big name for the team. But Fury, it's Ed Pan. What makes him a big name on his team?
I mean, the guy's consistency, he's just been in there, despite the unfortunate losses that these guys have been suffering. He's always been putting up numbers. He's always been doing his job. He's had a fairly solid rating. Even in their loss to Skyfire last week, the guy still went 13-10 with a 64% cost, a 1.14 rating on the whole. It was even better for him going up against Exto. He's consistently been second on the board for his team overall in stats. So as much as he isn't the most talked about player for Fury, he's one of the most hardworking, one of the most consistent players on the day.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a name that does go back pretty far if you've been watching Oceanic Siege for quite some time now. So keen to see him maybe get one of those games where his numbers do pop off tonight. That would be really nice to see for him, at least, for the Fury fans. For Big Dogs, I'm sure they're looking for Pac-Man to pop off. But I've got a special one for you. Now, normally I say I don't look at the maps before we throw them up here, but I did have a cheeky wee look, and we're going to Consulate. It's not one of the big 3 that we've been going on. It's the first time I'm pretty sure this season we're seeing Consulate.
Yeah, I believe it's one of the few. Actually, no, yeah, I would have to say this is probably the only entry, but it's interesting looking at the map ban history. Fury, they ban out Clubhouse, they ban out Oregon, they ban out Villa. The 3 maps that we've seen the most in OCL so far. Big Dogs, they take out Cafe, Coastline, and Chalet. So this is the best of a bad situation for both teams. No chance that Fury wanted to go to those 3 maps again, because we've seen Big Dogs on Oregon. We've seen them play Clubhouse. They play them very, very well. They want to take them somewhere a little less known. The unfortunate thing is, it's Consulate. This is a map that is going to favor the Big Dogs playstyle. They love their heavy roam. Shaq is going to be off doing his own thing on the defense. There's spawn peaks that need to come into effect. There's going to need to be a huge amount of coordination, as much as we have seen that for Fury. they need to break away from the curse. 1-5. It has been their undoing. As soon as they hit 5 rounds, they something just comes apart, and they need to break away from that form.
So, I mean, okay, look, all memes aside on that, what do you do as Fury? I mean, it could be affecting their players, right? Do they just honestly have to have a solid mindset where they get to 5 rounds? Do you just take the tack pause at round 5, right? Like, is it going to be that big of a deal to actually?
I mean,
try
honestly,
and hold this curse away?
The answer for Fury is bait Shaq into talking in all chat, because we know
Oh,
what
yeah.
happens when that goes down for the big dogs. The man needs to uninstall it. As soon as a strong breeze enters the field, that it's all over. So
Did he say anything last week?
No, but they lost last week because he said something in week number 2. So,
yeah, so that's used up the curse from the previous week, so he's got a fresh slate now? Is that how it works?
I don't think that's quite how it works, but we will have to see. Big dogs coming into this, I know. I talked to Boff, he said they were very disheartened with their performance. They know they can do better, and that's exactly what they're looking to do. On the other side of things, it's Fury. They've proved that they can perform when they need to. Unfortunately, Skyfire was incredibly capable opponent. There's a reason they're first place at the moment. They themselves, I know for a fact, they're looking to bounce back this week as well. But again, these are two teams who are so close to the line but not quite able to push over it. This is the week that it needs to happen.
All right, well, we're very close to getting the game going as we're just checking to make sure all the players are indeed ready. But you've said it yourself, right? It's just from both sides. They both desperately want to win, perhaps for different reasons from last week's matches, but reasons are nonetheless. So, without further ado, let's jump in to Consulate.
Well, operator bans are going to be huge. This one, I'm expecting a Nomad once again, although we did see some slightly less conventional stuff. Iana and Mute coming out from Skyfire. And, well, yeah, look, this is a throwback to the old days. Boff there referencing it as well. But it's going to be big dogs to kick off the ban phase. What do we see taken away? Thatcher, no surprises whatsoever. I'm anticipating that we see something like the Nomad come out for Fury, but, I mean, we've already seen Stranger Things tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think Consulate's probably strange enough to be just picked as a map. The Nomad should be almost a no-brainer on this one because it's such a powerful operator. And there it is from Fury. You never want to go up against this one. Maybe there's some argument for it if you're going attack first, you'll leave it up. But yeah, they're not going to go for anything a little crazy. Just get it out of the way.
Defensive bans, it's really anyone's guess. I would anticipate probably a Cade, probably a Mirror. If Valkyrie makes a lot of sense here, Fury taking that one off the board. She's just so strong on Consulate. Those external cams going to be making it so hard for you to progress and attack into the building. Final ban, it's in the hands of the big dogs. What do we say taken? Is it going to be something less conventional? I would anticipate Mirror or Cade would be one of the two, and it's going to be Mirror, so Cade will be left available. Means we are going to have to see some vertical control being taken here on Consulate. But no surprises, that's how the map's played.
Yeah, so still plenty of powerful operators are remaining for people to pick up. Like you said, there's a fair amount of vertical, especially if they ever go over to the split side for some reason. But, plenty of opportunities to get your wall denial going when the basement site comes up. So, we saw Bandit teased a little bit, but, you've always got your option for, like, Cade to come out. Mute not actually banned this round either, so plenty of options. We are going to the basement, but I actually don't see that wall denial. Instead, we've got the Mozzie and the Castle, and, even the Aruni that could go upstairs. But, there it is. Swapped in at the last second. Kaid will be there, but do we still sniff a little bit of Roman going on here, Panda, especially if it doesn't actually get locked in?
100%. With a Mozzie and a Jaeger on the board, you're going to see some upstairs presence as well. The Aruni can be utilized to make it that much harder.
Attackers need to
but on the attack, we see something a little bit different. Angmo running not only the Capital, but the M249 Saw. LMG Capital coming into effect as well. It's an operator that is played every now and then on console with those asphyxiating bolts, with the smoke bolts as well. It can make it that much harder to hold aside as a defender. You can flush players out. You can cut down lines of sight. That's going to be so key here for Fury to pick up some rounds in the attack. It is Consulate. It is a map that is touted to be more often than not attacker-sided. But against a team like the Big Dogs, who when they play on form are an absolutely terrifying force to be reckoned with, I think Fury are going to need to eke out every advantage they can.
Well, here's their first opportunity here in around number 1, attacking into the garage. Which side are we going to look at the spawns coming in from? Because we've actually got a few members of the big dogs keeping an eye out themselves to see where Fury is going to be spawning. I'm sure just for intel purposes, right, Buff? Nothing too crazy going to go on from that, but they won't actually find any free frags from it. Instead, just retreating back, making sure that they're not seeing anyone from certain spots, but seeing that window open, it's going to give them a pretty good idea that someone's going to be coming through the east.
Yeah, I mean, this is the most common entry for a lot of teams. Go in through admin, get control of the vertical. Oh, almost ahead, just in the corner of that window. Boff playing a dangerous game. Angmo looking to lock it down. Not going to be finding anything. Usually the Nomad player for the team, but given that it was banned out, picks up the Capitao, and Pun opens things up onto his former teammate. Shaq falls. And that is a big threat now gone for the big dogs. He's such a powerhouse on the roam. He's the one who can affect some massive change going at the end of rounds. And they lose Present as well. So the equalizer is there. Some big utility off the board. But, I mean, I'd take that trade. Fury, they're going to be happy that Shaq is gone.
Yeah, and you could actually see just how they rotated all the way around to the western side. You can see that they're keen on taking control of Piano and maybe getting some vertical control there. Because, I mean, you look at the lineup, they're not opening the garage wall anytime soon, that's for sure. So they're going to have to go through the stairs as well. Perhaps maybe get some of that denial down, but at the end of the day, it's going to be the vertical control. But Pac-Man from the yellow stairs, from above, cutting off any chance at a retaliation too. He may even get more.
I mean, he's a capable player in his own right. He almost qualified for the Oceanic Nationals relegations playoffs, and, well, he did actually. He almost qualified for the whole relegations tournament, but at the moment, he's playing the Mozzie. This man is incredibly capable. Boff finds another one behind Black Car, and 20 to fall means that Fury, they have a minute to play and only 2 players to play in it. I think this could be a time that they will utilize to communicate and figure out what is going wrong here, figure out how they need to approach the next round, but I mean, if you are a fan of Pac-Man, he's a pretty top tier content creator in his own right. He's uploaded weeks 1 and 2 of their play so far, and I have no doubt that we'll see, another one coming in for weeks 3 and 4. There's some interesting stuff given the player perspectives, and you can understand why these guys are so clinical when they play.
Clinical here in the end is always important too. So with 30 seconds to go, it should just be business as usual to hold off a 4v2. Fury certainly have a pretty big task ahead of them, and 15 seconds to go. Plant still not anywhere close. It means this round should pretty easily go over to the big dogs. They might lose a few along the way, but they'll also pick some up as well, leaving only 1 attacker left. Pun's going to be able to at least sprint it and make a chance at planting, but as we said from about 30 seconds ago, Big Dogs had really locked that one in.
Yeah, I mean, it was a mountain that they would have had to overcome to win that round. But, Pun, he did a good job. He got some frags in the tail end of it. Angmo not quite able to find anything of his own. But, I mean, it's basement locked out. It is the strongest bomb site on this map. They're going to be going to press lobby. I would be concerned if we saw a console meeting coming out at any point. It's just such a weak bomb site at the moment. The vertical play, the horizontal repel angles that a lot of attacking teams have utilized to great strength. So this one makes a lot of sense. I'm interested to see how they play it though, because you want to control the vertical, you want to go upstairs. Interestingly enough, people don't play console meeting, but they'll play those positions on a press lobby bomb site.
Yep, no, they'll still be very keen for that. Still bringing all the value from the upstairs. The castle actually 6-picked away over onto the Maestro. Suggests maybe a little more anchoring might be going on down. I mean, you can just get so much value from a Maestro just hunkering away and hiding for sure. Sacrificing the castle is a little interesting, so they are relying a lot on the gunpowder presence from upstairs, and to be honest, you look at the players that are going to be dealing with it, and you're not too surprised. Pac-Man's been having a great round so far, so why not leave him up there? Shaq usually has pretty good rounds. He's been pretty slow to start tonight, but we're only 1 round in, so we'll give him another shot at it. We'll give him another go, because I'm also scared for Fury. What happens when Shaq starts having good rounds?
Attackers are heading out to defuse the bomb.
Yeah, when he finds that freedom to get in and take charge of a round, he can be excruciatingly painful for your opponents.
There's something funny about leaving a hole in a window and just running away. It just messes with the attackers. I love it.
Well, they're setting themselves up. Edpan going to be charging into Garage at the moment. Opens things up. Wasn't able to find a frag in the last round. Got caught out by, unfortunately, Boff, who was playing that cheeky angle behind the car. Oh, speaking of the man himself, look at the angle as he's playing in piano at the moment. Again, can't quite connect there, but the older 5.56, it is an absolute bullet hose. They are looking to do some real damage. Edpan, he plays a risky game and will somehow get away from it. Fury, they know some of the key positions here are defenders, and they're looking to stack up. They're looking to get themselves in. Yellow stairs seems to be the point of entry. Oh, there's a player in cafeteria. Pac-Man thought he had the flank, but Twent was aware that there could have been someone in that position. Shuts it down, and that's a key frag off the board.
Yeah, absolutely reading him like a book. Boff as well has been cleared out from, I presume he was still sitting in piano and now eliminated. So this is looking pretty grim for the big dogs. Not a whole lot going left. Pants does still have 3 toxic babes left, but I mean, what's he really going to do with them from all the way up here to deny anything? Shaq, we've been asking for him to start activating, and perhaps this could be it as he gets one. King Grills getting the next. Pants dropping down now as well. Big dogs might be in for this one with another shot, as they've evened up the numbers. Can they get position back? That's going to be the big question. King Grills gets a few clips on the air there, but will manage to stay alive. But we're back to a standstill, Panda.
3-3 as we close in on the final minute of the half. Shaq, he's upstairs again, playing long desk. These are the positions where he does thrive. At the moment, King Grills, the only one in close proximity to this piano area where it seems that Fury are mounting pressure, looking to get themselves in. Edpan with a great drone there is going to spot out one. It's going to be Shaq as well. Ash Jaeger players to go toe-to-toe, but Shaq, he's already pushed down Yellow. He's looking to find that angle, find that pinch into the bomb site itself. There we go, Prez to fall. He's going to look for more, but he can't. Pun takes him out yet again. 2 rounds in a row. It's Pun to shut him down, and Pun will be the one in the Pun. He's got the most plants so far. Pants finds both of them. 2 quick, clean headshots, and the big dogs, they'll take a second in the half.
Yeah, real nice one there coming out, and already the pause being called out. This one seems like it's going to be a technical one, as Boff calling out that his game has frozen. But yeah, I mean, we thought maybe that would have been Shaq coming pretty hard online at the end there, but it was actually Pants. Pants pulling it off, doing real well, and scoring those big ones at the end. And yeah, we got to disconnect, so it looks like we're just going to wait for him to reconnect. But hey, look, that's the beautiful thing about being able to pause the game now, is that we don't have to re-host the whole game. Oh man, I love that change so unbelievably much.
Yeah, Pants, I mean, he's been one of the key players in this roster for the longest time. It's interesting to see him come into effect and find his own. Last week, he did struggle a little bit. Hopefully, they've managed to break away. At the moment, it seems that has been the case. He was still second on the board in overall ratings, just behind Pac-Man himself. Oh, my Lord, my phone's going off here. Oh, dear. But, okay, there we go. Fixed. But, I mean, the pause, unfortunately, looks like Shaq, yeah, he's having some issues here, and it's the last thing you want if you're the big dogs. You want to get him back in. You want to be letting him do his thing in the server, because when he does that, I mean, we've seen it time and time again. It unfortunately does come down to the Shaq curse as to whether or not they find the victory. And at the moment, he's keeping cool, keeping calm. He's not going to let it get to him this time around. And it might be that they have used up that one incident from week number 2 already.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a real problem for sure. But I mean, I don't know, man. It's looking like the curse is extending here if he's not going to be able to connect anytime soon. Of course, I think they mentioned just the game froze, so doesn't sound like a power cut or anything, so that sounds like a good thing that we won't be waiting super long on for sure. But I mean, hey, look, for Fury, they still have a few things to sort out on. They obviously can't rely on the Shaq curse at all, so for them, I mean, some of these rounds are getting a little close, but Panda, I feel like they're getting the advantage and letting it slip away. So what are we looking for Fury to change up here? I mean, they've had their own kind of pause, so what are they going to pull out with?
Honestly, I would almost rate the Jackal pick coming out here. Jackal, Gridlock, something like that, to lock down those flank positions. It's also a case of just information gathering. I think a 0 pick as well could be something that is utilized, but we're going to be heading, surprisingly, to console meeting. I did talk about it. It's not the strongest bomb site, and usually teams only go here if they haven't been stratting, lobby servers downstairs, archives, tellers, whatever you want to call it. But
Defenders,
I mean,
protect your bombs from
this
being
is one
defused by
that
attackers.
it can be a free round, and the upside down repels that the angles that you can control as an attacker. Big Dog's gonna have to do something big to pull this one out.
Yeah, the window control can get pretty crazy, and almost the reason why a lot of teams just don't like this map at all is particularly for just the sight lines the attackers can get on this very floor here that we're getting our eyes on. Shout out to the new observer this week, or at least stand-in observer this week, Nuttery, for stepping in here, giving us a good show when we need him the most. So our hearts go out to you, man. We always love everyone else in the production team, but for Fury, they would love a point on the board. So what have we got coming out from Big Dogs? I like the castle because you can just block off so many of those annoying sightlines I was just talking about.
We'll see just how Fury look to get themselves in. Playday goes 4-0-2 at the moment. On the other side of the cards, Pants 3-2-0. Has not been silenced yet. He's been putting in a solid effort. It was key in how that last round closed out. SMG 11 Spray finishing off the final two members. But the question needs to be answered. How do Fury get themselves into the building? How do they start to contest onto this bomb site? At the moment, it looks like they are trying to shoot things out, and there we go. Prez finally readjusts. We'll find the camera in lobby as well. But it's the repel game that needs to be clean here for Fury. They need to get themselves in a position, contest those long angles, lock down any chance at a retake of the bomb site, because that has to be how it's played. They need to get control of the bomb site, and unfortunately, look at the shack positioning right there. Playing yellow stairs with the footholes opened up into console. This bomb site is just a death trap.
Yeah, and that's how the defending team likes to keep it, making sure that anyone approaching it, anyone even stepping inside it, is in a bit of trouble. Pun's going to be now draining the utility at the very top of those stairs so that Angmo can just flush out Shaq. But Pants is going to be the first to fall down in the lobby, I imagine, somewhere. Shaq in a whole lot of trouble, pinned down from multiple angles, droned out, no ADS remaining. What can he pull out of here but time? And it looks like that's all he's going to get, as Edpan's going to be the one to come in and snatch him up. Twent to follow up Boff on the background as well. Fury, it's looking like they're pulling this round out, Panda.
The pre-fire was there. There's really no way Shaq was going to get out of that one alive. Drone in, spots the player in console lobby. That's an interesting position for King Girls to be holding, but he's trying to rotate back into meeting. The breach is not working for him at the moment, and Pac-Man will rotate up to join his teammate, pulls down the barricade as well. Shoots out a drone. They are in a great position to shut this down should they go for an aggressive push in through console. But with two P10 roadies in hand, they've got limited magazine size, and with 50 seconds left on the clock, Fury, they don't have a huge amount of drone utility. In fact, it's just Edpan with the drone, and he is below. But they've got so many points to contest. Oh, Twent, I don't think he quite realized how close he was. Shoulder spotted, tagged up there by King Grills. They still don't have a guaranteed entry into the bomb site. Pac-Man rotating down below. If he can kill out Ed here, he can contest with a nitro cell. And it's a big frag to be finding King Grills. He's going to punch it out. Shoots one! Shoots two as well! They lose Pac-Man, but King Grills, with the aggressive push into the bomb site, he's got control of the diffuser as well. What can he do here? Edpan shoots it through the desk. Ball bang. King Grills finds Pun. He needs one more. He's done it. King Grills saves the Big Dogs. They take a third round run on the fly. Shaq, no, don't do it. You're going to cost them the map.
No, you got to respect that in chat, Panda. What a play coming out. I mean, I was thinking, all right, he's got to rip down the castle wall. That's going to take some time, and time they don't have, but he just boffs it right in the face, and that's all that's needed. So absolute legend to pull out that at the end, and the numbers as well. 1v4 King Grills, man, total respect for that play. That should have been Fury's first round, but it's just stolen away.
My lord, King Grills, people question him coming in to fill the pants of Wettables, who was the original player, but Wet got picked up for the Oceanic Nationals, and well, now it's King filling out this roster, and he's proved himself round after round, week after week, as a part of this Big Dogs roster. 3 rounds on the fly. Well, we've already seen the Shaq curse come into effect in week number 3. He's gone for the all chat again. Can they do it here? I know Boff and the boys, they want to prove that they are one of the top competitors in this competition. But superstition is a very real possibility and a real problem for some of these guys. Well, you got a question. Have they enacted that curse yet again?
Well, no. Okay, curse mechanics here, right? So Shaq's activated his
5
curse,
seconds left.
but Fury haven't got their 5 points yet. So now Fury will win 5 in a row, and then their curse activates and Big Dogs win. So Shaq's actually big-brained this, knowing when he can put his all chat in. Love to see it.
Well, we'll have to see just how it works out. Kangaroos, from a massive deficit, pulls out the 1v3. Almost a 1v4, given the timing where Pac-Man went down. But look at that, 6-0-1 at the moment. Big numbers, big save coming out from him. Basement bomb site yet again. In the first 30 seconds, Fury, they have to be questioning here, and you can see the Jackal coming out for Anglo. They need to deal with this offsite presence, deal with these floating roamers that Big Dogs are playing with, because already we've seen just how much they can undermine their attacking setup.
Yeah, but I'm almost wondering about it because it's not like finding the roamers has been too much of a problem for Fury. It's actually just beating them in gunfights, right? So, I mean, Big Dogs, I'm sure they're just happy to continue going along. It may be able to escape a little bit more, but will the Jackal be enough? I'm sure it's going to help, but we'll have to find out, like you mentioned, because now that we're a minute in, Fury have managed to take some decent control of the building itself, so they'll be able to make their way towards the bottom floor, towards that basement, and then start applying that actual vertical pressure, because once you get a sledge into piano, it's basically curtains for anyone hanging out in garage. There's just so much power you can put in there, and they're now about to take vertical control of those rooms, so it's step by step, they're getting there.
Attackers located a bomb.
The more ground they take, the more potential for it to all come apart, and Prez will find the kill on Boff, who did try and rotate out of public. But nothing found there, nothing gained whatsoever. It's just a gun off the board. And 4 rounds in a row, Fury have been able to find the opening frag, and they have not been able to translate it into a win. Nitro cell toss, prepped and ready by Pac-Man. His pants as well going to be tagged up heavy to this vertical control. Twent just doing a great job of opening his angles. Nitro and Anti will not find anyone. It's 50 seconds left on the clock here, Smite. And Fury, this is the best position they've been in, especially given last round as well, that they might be able to close this one out.
Yeah, like I said, they need that position above the site, and they've now got it all filled up with sledge holes. So any defenders hiding down there are going to have to be falling all the way back, and Pants falling down. That's the smoke. He'd already thrown out most of them, so not a huge deal, but still someone you want. Shaq is still alive near the end too, but Pac-Man falls. It's going to have to come down to Shaq making the biggest flank of his life. There's 20 seconds left. You've got to imagine Fury about to jump in, go for the plant on default. But Shaq, he started to execute his plan and execute his opponents. But the plant now finally starting to go down. Shaq has been traded back out. It's all up to this bloody legend once more.
Girls, he can't do anything. Ed Pan, I'm not okay. I'm not saying there is a direct correlation between Shaq talking in all chat and them losing round number 4, but it's happened. It's happened, and Fury take themselves around at least. This could be a little concerning if this trend continues.
I told you, Fury wins 5 in a row, and then their curse activates. That's exactly how it's going to go down. But no, I mean, let's talk about that round because it was, again, pretty standard stuff coming out from Fury and just everything doing their job, right? They get control of the top floor reasonably quickly, and then once they're able to open up the top floor, then it's very hard to defend below there. You know, back into the lobby, piano, those rooms, when there's a million holes in the roof, it's just impossible to hold. Same story for garage. So once Fury had taken that, you kind of knew it was almost a matter of time, apart from maybe some really good C4s. We saw attempts at that by Pac-Man. He, you know, almost went for a, kind of like a semi-pre-placed one where he knew people were upstairs and was kind of just waiting for the sledge hole to come out for him to actually proc it. But at the end of the day, timing was a little off, and those things, when they don't work, they just feel so bad.
Well, it is a round at the very least that they have picked up. Angbo playing again, something a little bit different. Dockerby coming in with that EKB as well. Sorry, MKB. The logic bomb, it's such a powerful tool, especially when you got those good fraggers in entering and finding those picks. Fury could utilize this quite well. It also adds a vertical aspect as we do head into round number 5 here. This would be concerning if Big Dogs, they take 3 rounds they then lose the next
Attackers
three.
must locate and
Given
defuse
what's
the bomb.
happened, the concern has to be... Boff, look at that. He's going for a bit of a spawn peek, running the MP5 rather than the M590, but I don't think Fury, they probably watched last match. I don't think they're going to fall for it here on Consulate.
Yeah, probably not. They'll be able to survive. And it's a quick entry for Fury, at least getting the garage all nice and open. But Shaq nearby is going to have the window prepped, but surely Fury are close enough to have heard that one. So they're going to be keeping their eyes on it, so he shouldn't be jumping out or at least peeking out anytime soon. You can see, yeah, the silhouettes are definitely paying attention up there. They know that there's the chance of the big man Shaq around. And it does seem like rounds have been won or lost based on Shaq's performance. So if they can catch him out early before he gets any value, then that could be easily their entry onto the site, right? It gives them this almost control of just hanging out around outside those windows where with no Nomad ban, there's a lot of dangerous runouts that you can really normally lock off with a Nomad, not available here.
As we burn through the first minute of time, Fury, they're still trying to figure out where they should go, and Shaq falls. 2 rounds in a row, he's taken down. He's not killed just yet. But it's in a position where he's not going to... Oh, Pac-Man! Good night, the head! Just spotted it, really blended in quite well. And this is where the real concern starts to mount. Prez's drone will spot out the down form, and will it spot out King? I would have to imagine that they know King is now going to try and pick him up. Pants there as well. Kingrels finds the head of President, so at least they're able to bait that out. There's another one there. Kingrels going to be tagged. It is Angmo. Toxic canister thrown to cover off the pickup, which will be coming through now. We're in a 4v4, a minute 12-ish on the clock as we head there. And the run out, the jump out. Oh no, Boff dealt with by Twin. This is all coming apart here for the big dogs. I don't even think Kingrels can bring them back into this.
Yeah, I mean, desperation is coming out. You saw some signs of life with Shaq getting back up, but he's already been downed once, so slight disadvantage to the boys in orange at the moment. Fury, though, they do still have a little bit of work to go. Both logic bombs have been used, I believe, as well, so still perhaps looking for anything they can find at the moment. Right now, it's just going to be winning the gunfights coming down the stairs. I believe that's going to be Shaq still holding his flank, but it's going to be all the way on the southern side, and it looks like all 3 members, that's the last logic bomb actually going off now, won't be available in a post-plant situation, so they're really banking on being able to get this plant down and then hold it from there.
Oh, a bit of a miss throw there, I think, from Angmo with the smoke. Pant's going to see, or at least hear the rappel in. Angmo, he might be in a bit of trouble. He's going for the plant. The rush up coming for Pants, but the crossfire's there for a twin. Pun finds Shaq. Kingrels alone has to do it again, but the plant is secured. King, he's going to go for the jump out. Sees the upside down repeller. Twin tags him, but it's not enough. Angmo on the backside. King in a very precarious situation. Might even go for the full run out. Punches the door. Can he find one? No. Angmo takes him down like a deer in the headlights. Fury, they bring it back another round, closing that score gap to 3-2. This has to be the point where the concern sets in for the big dogs, because they won the opening 3. They've now lost 2. They are in a position where this half goes equal.
I mean, not the end of the world for sure, but I imagine if you are big dogs, you're looking at the first 3 rounds and thinking, hey, I kind of like those back, please. I'd like to repeat what we did there, because it was honestly working wonders, right? But some of it did come off the back of a bit of magic, right? Round 3 was King Grills and to an extent Pac-Man popping off at the end to get their, 2v4, basically 1v4 play. So that round a little close for sure. The first 2 rounds is where they're really looking for that magic to repeat. But yeah, Fury looking to even it up. They're not looking to change up their lineup really at all. I mean, the Dokkaebi, I think, is kind of what they were sort of looking for there. I didn't see the Logic Bomb have too much of an effect at the end, but it definitely at least gave them a bit of a guarantee when they were going for the plant. Like, hey, there's no one right around the corner, so we'll be okay. Perhaps that's what they're looking to bring here again.
We do see something a little bit less conventional, not necessarily less conventional, but less seen in the competition at the moment. Boff going to be bringing out the Echo, those Yokai drones going to be coming into play, and Fury, they're going to double down on the positioning and the operators they've brought previously. Angmo back on the Dokkaebi, going to be bringing that Logic Bomb into play, and you look at the numbers across the board, not quite what you'd be expecting. Boff was one of the standout players in the opening week and week 2 as well. Now, him and Shaq as well have felt very much shut down. Pac-Man not quite having the same showing that we've seen of him before. It's just, you've got to wonder, really, is the superstition justified?
I mean, at this stage, it's kind of creepy how close it is. I think I'll really start to freak out if the Fury 5 wins thing does actually happen, but let's hold our breath a little bit until then, because they've still got to pick up this round. Pac-Man has lost a little bit of health, but other than that, no real damage has been done to either side, so Fury looking like they're at least trying to get some control of the bottom floor, but they really want this room here. They really want Piano, and Pac-Man already tagged down to half. He might be a little easy to clear out now that he has been droned some shots from outside, just barely clipping his helmet, but surely he can survive just a little bit longer. It might just come down to how much time can he buy them, and the answer is just a few more seconds. Twint does cop a bit of damage in return, though.
SMG11 to pick it up. Pants playing Circle Desk for the moment, but eerily concerning. That's 6 rounds in a row, in fact, where Fury have picked up the opening frag. Only 2 of them so far where they've been able to translate it into a win. We'll see if they can do it here as well. But you look at them, they're stacked up. 2 outside yellow, 1 on the rappel, looking at the console, looking to cut down the angles. King going to take some damage as well. Shaq still playing his position. Logic Bomb goes out. They're trying to find him, trying to flush him out of this angle. He's looking to contest on a skylight. For the moment, he's safe, he's secure. No! How did he find that? It was on... Oh, my lord. I think that was on the rappel from the bathroom window. Shaq dropped 2 rounds in a row. Angmo's going to finish it off with the SMG-12 as he jumps in yellow stairs. Look, I'm a believer now. This Shaq curse is real.
Well, they'll have to close the round out to really convert me. They've still got a bit of work to do, but Big Dog's certainly on the back foot at the moment, despite that one. Pants rushing in for the drone kill, but instead, it's actually Angmo to clean him up. Instead, and only one left, as King Grills will fall as well. They have the option to hack the cameras if they really want to. 40 seconds left. They don't need it at all. Fury, flawless round.
The curse is real. The curse is real. They took the half 3-0 to kick things off, then 3 rounds back-to-back, the final one being a flawless round in Fury's favor. The concern has to be there if you're a fan of the Big Dogs, and whether it's a case of just removing Shaq's enter key as well might be a discussion. Oh, the T key, sorry, should be a question that they do have, but we transition into the half. Fury will head onto the defense basement. No surprises that it is the first bomb site coming into play, but Big Dogs have to be concerned. They have to be shaking at least a little bit.
Look, I mean, curses aside, this is normally where I say, you know, if a game is gonna change up at all, it's when they swap sides. But with an even performance from both sides, I feel like they've really got each other kind of worked out in how they're feeling like they're playing. But that all resets now that we have swapped sides. The question is, how different are each side going to look, right? You can already tell on the defense, there are like the smallest changes around maybe who gets brought to which site, for example. But the big difference here would be no Mozzie for Fury playing on the basement. Then you look on the attacking side, again, very, very similar in how they're going to approach. Maybe the smallest difference in, say, the Zero being brought, and basically just how they want to handle the intel. So I'd say we're looking to have a bit of a repeat of the first half, which was, well, if you look at the scoreboard, pretty interesting.
10 seconds left before
Nothing crazy out of the ordinary. Pac-Man obviously back on his signature ace. It's the operator that he plays on attack. He's their support, their hard breach. Phenomenal player with that AK-12 as well. King Grills and Shaq picking up that entry roll, and Boff on the soft breach. I mean, Big Dogs, they need to come out of this round swinging again, because if we see them repeat, follow the traditional, histories when it comes to this sort of thing, there's a chance they do go quietly into the night, especially given that Fury now on the defense, this is a side they do thrive on. Angmo picking up that Maestro, and this is Ironsight's MP7 Zero coming out as well. It's not something you see very often with the man himself, the oldest operator in Siege at the moment. The Shaq's pushed in. He's looking to go in the long desk, but will give away his position to Ed Pan at the moment. There's a lot of control taken. Admin taken very, very handily, but no, Ed Pan, he's going to go for the drop. Tries to go for the fadeaway, but no one's going to stick their head out for the moment. This is still anyone's game.
Yeah, all things considered, they've pushed him out reasonably quickly, seeing if they can even pick up a frag on the back of that. And Edpan drops and cleaned up there by Shaq, so perhaps a bit of his luck has returned for now. So one frag and top floor completely in the hands of Big Dogs now. Have they used their time wisely enough as they've got to now approach the first floor?
Frag grenade does follow Prez down those circle stairs, but nothing found for the moment. We've still got plenty of time on the clock, so Big Dogs do have that freedom at the very least. Edpan off the board means there's one less Nitro, and President going to be tagged up heavy as well. So they are taking these little advantages and utilizing them. Pants was the one to go toe-to-toe with the Jaeger, but he's punished for his troubles as well. They have that public bathrooms hold with the mute. And there we go. Twit finds the kill onto Boff. Try to utilize that verticality. Is punished by the Nitro cell. So we are back in a 4 versus 4. Health bars almost identical across the board. In fact, President just slightly healthier. Not that it really matters. Twit with the M590. Shaq holding down this position. This is such a power spot for those SAS operators. And luckily, they do have the vertical angles to contest. Twit will go down to Kingrels. But with Shaq off the board, that's looking worse and worse as we get deeper and deeper into this round.
Yeah, I mean, the fact he got anything at all instead of just the time being burned, that's just great for Fury. So they can be totally stoked with that. Now, let's see what that can really buy them, because with only 30 seconds left, it's time to get inside. And that's looking like a very electrified wall, so they've got to now finally take it down, open things up, and get that plant inside. Pac-Man still has to make his way. 2 defenders are still hanging out, being droned out by Pants at this very moment. Do they have the time to take it out? Yes, they do. But now they know exactly where Pun is. They can cut him off. They just have to go for that swing. 10 seconds left, Panda. It's time for the Big Dogs to make their entry straight into his Nitro cell. No time to pop it off, though. So just has to pull it out and get the headshots along with the rest of his team.
Those concussions, they didn't go deep enough. They didn't hit, unfortunately, onto the Cade of Pun. And he was able to swing in with the help of Anglo and shut down that push. 1 round to go before Fury hit the 5, and we see whether or not these 2 situations equalize each other out. But that's 4 rounds in a row for Fury at the moment. And as we head to press lobby, the inkling, the concern very much has to be there for the Big Dogs.
I mean, yeah, this is kind of surprising, right? 4 rounds in a row, that's going to feel great if you're Fury. So now they've just got to make it that 5, and I wonder if they're actually going to feel any pressure from that, because the last few weeks that has come up. We are memeing about it for sure, but for the players themselves, it has to be on their mind, meme or not, once they hit that round 5. But let's see them get the point on the board first, because we got to remember, as much as memes and curses are a powerful thing in Siege, so is momentum. And 4 rounds in a row is nothing to talk short of at all, especially against a team like the Big Dogs.
Well, despite Kingrel's best efforts, they are struggling. Obviously, it was Oblivion in last week to the place of Kingrel, so obviously they must be feeling a bit better now that he's back. Unfortunately, I mean, the mental game is such a key aspect of Rainbow Six Siege. Talking about, they were off their game last week. They skipped a few practices, and it was definitely showing. You got to ask the question, is it a similar situation here? Have they let things slip? Have they missed those opportunities to improve and prep themselves? Because, I mean, this is a far cry from what we're used to seeing out of Boff and Pac-Man alike.
I think we'll get our answer here, because, I mean, the first round of a half, you can always give it up to perhaps even Jitters, or the second half, right? But now that they've got a chance to warm up on attack, you know, they're back into those operators with the longer scopes, better guns, drones and all that, they should be feeling a lot more warmed up, even after just 1 round of that. So we'll give them a chance here, because if the comeback is going to start, I think it kind of has to start now. It's been a while since they've picked up a round. Things are feeling a little awkward, but upstairs here could be where they're going to do it, at least where most of them are looking to enter the building. It seems like that's going to go mostly without a hitch. There's no one really hiding around. President's going to be the first real enemy they'll encounter, and Pac-Man should be able to drone this one out. Even at the cost of his drone, it should at least get the confirmation that he's there.
Even still, President has been one of the key players on this Fury roster, time and time again, top in the scoreboard. now has an idea that there is pressure nearby. As that unfortunate Banshee will be taken out of the equation. Frag grenade thrown, but it is eaten by the magnet. Just going to be able to destroy the shield, and Kingrel's position primed, ready to go. Just around the doorway, no cover for President at the moment. He's in a real world of trouble should they go for that swing. But at the moment, it's Boff. He's the first one tagged. Twent will fall to Shaq, and a headshot cleanly takes him out of this equation. They're looking to open things up. They're trying to find the player who was in meeting, but nothing for the moment. They will escape for now, but Edpan from the top of yellow just swings out, cleans up Shaq as he was going for the default. You have to believe at this stage that the curse is real.
Oh, hang on. Before we talk about curses, Pants is going for a plant. It's actually just ending up being a bit of a bait, though, because he cancels it out, and Angmo is going to be the one to fall for it. President now rotating all the way up from the basement, takes his prey out. That's Boff now on the ground. Is there going to be a return fire? We still got to battle upstairs as King Grills finds his mark onto Edpan. Now going to open up the remaining breach holes. Oh, the default cam on Pants now comes out the gas, and how does he even get back inside here, Panda?
Well, it's President to find the King on the Kingrels, who was the linchpin on that upstairs defense. Well, at least for the upstairs hold for the attackers anyway. And the security is no longer there. Pac-Man, he's still got the hatch in, meaning to try and close things out, give Pants that security to go for the plant. But if someone goes circle, they could shut it down here, and that's exactly what President has done. Pulling in, Pun finds the kill onto Pants. It's looking bleak here for the big dogs. Back to a 1v1. Pac-Man, though, returned to form, finds the head of President. Redeems himself and the team. They get the round. They will equalize yet again, but it came too close for comfort.
Yeah, that round, I mean, it was looking like one team was definitely winning, then another, and it just kept going back and forth. But at the end of the day, it just came down to those individual plays. A nice little swing out coming out to save the round, bring it back in for Big Dogs. I think that's just huge for their momentum, their morale, so that now they definitely know they can do it. For Fury, at least there wasn't 5 wins in a row to then lose, so at least that's not going to happen. But that said, they're now evened up. That's a little awkward. So momentum, while not entirely killed, I think it's just been equalized now. So this is the real even footing for the teams to have that fair match on right now. No excuses anymore. This is where it all comes down to it.
And we will see Archives tellers coming out here. Interesting. There we go. Okay, I was going to say, interesting we don't see the Pulse come out, but it will be the 6th pick there for President. He's going to be bringing it into the fold, but the Mozzie, the Maestro. We're going to see a number of Nitro cells, and in fact, all 4 as we head down to this split bomb site. This is the go-to. And Big Dogs, if they're smart, they're going to go for a 2-floor vertical setup. With the Buck on board, Pants, I think this is what he's setting up for. You want to go 2nd floor, open up as many lines of sight through the floor as you can. Because those Nitro cells, they can go far, but not quite all the way up to the top floor.
There should be an operator that, like, one day they release it, and kind of like the Aruni Punch passive. Their passive is they can just yeet things. Like, if they've got any impacts, C4s, they can just throw them like 2 floors. That would be mean, although probably also brokenly overpowered, so I should definitely design operators. Definitely hire me, Ubisoft.
Well, as we get into round number 9 here, equalizing the score, Pac-Man was able to bring it back, but you can see the Fury. They are just mincing up this floor. They want to be able to contest every conceivable angle. And it's surprising that we don't see that desk, or the floor below the desk open up. There we go. Angmo is on the job for the moment. It's such a common plant spot for a lot of attacking teams with this vertical aggression coming out from the defensive side. 30 seconds burnt, drone's going to be key. You look at them, just primed and ready to go. If President was in the right spot, that's information that they could translate into a big one. And Twent is playing in coffee room at the moment. Spots Pants. If they'd lost the Buck early, that would have been devastating.
Yeah, the Buck, probably the most valuable thing for them to hold on to. Maybe Boff on the sledge, but then again, like you said, it's just the protection from C4 that is just so invaluable. So they do manage to keep their Buck instead and now get to move through, and this is where the magic starts to happen. Pants a little low, so still has to worry about some return fire because, you know, the defenders, they might not be able to C4 up, but they can certainly shoot you back up even through your crazy Buck angles. But Pants, as long as he can get those holes down, that's going to be his job done, and then to hold the lines if he can, but important that he gets it done. But Boff actually going to be the first to fall through the floor, just taken out by Twent there. That's now the sledge off the board.
Twent has been going absolutely huge this match. 12 frags under the belt. He's looking for more. Look at, just there's no safe position. Kingrels might be able to go down service and start to contest things in the basement, but there's so much ground they need to cover. There's so many players in this basement who are ready and willing to contest, not to mention the pulse on the board that is just going to be feeding that information through wherever he is. Yeah, look, he's seen Kingrels. He's down below him at the moment. And President, that's just utility they can capitalize on, angles they can now contest because they know where these players are. And there is a 2-floor angle that President is now watching. There is someone close by, but not for the moment going to step into it. Kingrel's prepped and ready, wants to get onto the bomb site, wants to get that plant down. Pings are coming out over the map, and Shaq falls. Twent again upstairs on this roam has done massive work in the round, and they even haven't had to use this utility. Look at that. Pants opens up the angle. He's going to find the kill onto the head as Pac-Man now goes to the plant. Nitro cell tossed. Is he going to be able to bait it out? Boom! There it goes. Pun drops the player on the defuse. And time is now against the big dogs who have to recover it. They have to go for a plant. Angmo there swings into the bomb site. Kingrels falls. This is looking bleak. Pants will get one back onto Edpad. But this is exactly how you play this bomb site. And Fury, with 14 seconds left to play, 3 players still alive, and Pants with no health and no clue what to do. He's going to look for it, but he can't find it. Fury get themselves the round lead again.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Big Dogs, maybe they thought that their moment was to go push for the site at that time because they saw, well, I think 2 roamers at least. They had just killed one of them in Twent, so they thought, all right, we've got to push onto the site now, but maybe they just weren't prepared for how minced up it was that we saw during the prep stage. But it's such a common thing for teams to do that should have been known well ahead of time. I think they were just trying to play for a window of opportunity, but unfortunately the environment wasn't there. And the main problem that we saw was that pulse below that's always going to find you with a C4. I mean, even without the heartbeat scanner, he's probably still going to see you.
Not to mention the evil eye cameras on the bomb site, just feeding it through. Twent would have had some drones in position as well. That Mute Mozzie combo just terrifying. And we're going to be heading back down into the basement now that it has opened itself up. Fury 1 round away from moving on to map point, and Pun will pick up the K instead of the Echo. Pants switching out for the Iana, which was banned out last time. Surprisingly, we're not seeing Shaq play it. Usually he's the one to pick that up, but a buck for an Iana. They are doubling down on this bulletproof utility destruction.
Yeah, I mean, just get it on out of here. So many annoying shields that you have to deal with when the team is defending from below. Although, interestingly, we don't see any shield ops coming out on the defense. So instead, you're looking at things like, you know, the bulletproof camera is definitely something they're going to be targeting with that a little bit. But perhaps mostly the Banshees and those evil eyes. Those are the things you really want to get rid of for the bulletproof utility. So it's no real surprise to see them go in for it. And also perhaps, you know, something Big Dogs were running into a little bit of trouble before, right? It is just not having the intel on when they wanted to go inside because it's too dangerous, right? So that's something that is perfect for Iana, right? You just run on in like you're a drone, doesn't matter if you get shot. So perfect little pickup for them to get a little bit of help in that regard.
Well, round number 10, Fury. This is their 5th. Do we see the Fury Curse come into play? At the moment, of the last 6 rounds, they have won 5 of them. So they are looking to close this one if they can. They want to break away from this number. It is, interestingly, in Chinese numerology, 5 is either good luck or bad luck. So,
well, which one is it?
So, yeah, it's both. It's potentially very good. It's potentially very bad. So hopefully Fury, they've burnt through their bad luck. They can now look to get that good luck running for them. And Shaq playing around long desk, spots one, just un-ADSs at the worst possible time, can't find the shots, and now they know he's there. They know there's someone playing long desk, they're not going to re-aggress on the angle. Edpan, it's a very rough situation to be playing this cabinet position. It's luckily got the hatch that he can drop back from, but if he gets found out here, if he gets stuck in that position, he's going to be in trouble. Kingrels finds a kill into Twent. I believe that was a run out too. Yeah, that was an aggressive play from him. And, well, they find the open net, they take the mute off the board. It's still not the easiest avenue onto the bomb site yet. Edpan gonna fall as well. Not a kill. Oh, Pants, don't do it to him. The Gone 6, picking up its first kill of the season.
I've been waiting for it. I've been waiting for it to happen, and there it is. They finally pick it up. But they still got a round to clear out here. Big Dog's Boff almost losing his entire life there, but will manage to live to breach another hole or two throughout this round. So still, that is some pretty big value to keep him as just another threat. Fury down to the real hunkers, particularly with Angmo and Pun on this one, but it's President you've got to watch out for. But even he is playing on site. He's just going to be looking for your feetsies, seeing if you can take your life from below. But really, he's in a lot of danger too, as just more and more of this floor is opening up above them.
50 seconds left on the clock, and they still haven't found any further advantage. Still 3 players there. President falls to Shaq, so it's now a 2 versus 5 situation. They can look to slow things down, look to stall it out. Angmo with that older 5.56. All he's got to do is line them up, and he can take them out. Oh no, Pun found on the backside, leaving Angmo. In a 1v5 clutch situation, there are very few players who come back from this, and unfortunately he can't do it either. King Grill secures the flawless round win for the Big Dogs. They equalize at 5-5, and Fury, this makes a lot of sense. They want to call the tack pause. This is the point where things start to unravel for them. If they can stop that from happening, if they can get themselves back into this mentally, they can achieve match point first.
Yeah, I mean, first part of calling this tack pause that's going to help them is killing any momentum from Big Dogs, who were probably really thirsty to get some momentum going, get a few rounds in a row, and they finally did. But yeah, Fury are going to be like, all right, hang on, take a breath, guys. Not just our team, but your team as well, so that they can't just steamroll it and steal away at least the match point. Because remember, Fury, they're not a team that wants to be hanging around this 1 and 2 kind of level on the leaderboard. They have been coming close to their wins. Arguably, they could be up there with Skyfire if a few rounds had gone a little differently. So what I'm getting at is they really need all 3 points here because they want to contest at the top. Big Dogs, I'm sure, do as well, but you know, it's just going to mean that the team that picks up this next round is at the very least, you know, not just guaranteeing themselves a point, but importantly denying their opponents the 2 points. So there's going to be a lot of stress on this round, almost as if it is the round, almost as if it is a match point round.
Well, if it does go to OT, which, I mean, the likelihood is close, if not almost guaranteed with these two. If it goes to OT,
hang on,
and, well, a Clash Alibi on the board. If it goes to OT, I'll finish what I was saying. If it goes to OT and Fury still win it, Big Dogs will still get 1 point, and they will end up tied on the leaderboard, strangely enough, because of the way the new point system works. So Fury, they want to close this out in regulation time. They don't want to get taken to OT. They want to take this map for themselves because those 3 points are desperately needed at this stage.
So I think it's time to talk about it. During the attack pause, Fury definitely cooked something up, and I think it's quite special. Clash, Alibi, and Oryx. So this already says to me they want to have a lot of presence around the map, but also the opportunity to, when things get a little dicey, as long as Twent is still alive on that Clash, then they can definitely play around with that. Sure, maybe not so much on 5v5. When it gets down to like 2v2 or just even 1v anything, Clash is just great. So it's interesting to see how they're mixing that with, you know, people that are going to be running around like Edpan, Angmo, on the Alibi. This one's just really good because it blocks off a lot of really important lines of sight, particularly the windows where he is sitting around at the moment. But I haven't seen any on, say, the split window. I wonder, in fact, if he's actually just still holding on to a few of them because, oh, yeah, there we go. We've got one in the room with him, but nothing on split. That was the other window I was going to mention, but Boff, oh man, he finds that straight away.
Yeah, I mean, the more interesting thing, there's 3 bailiffs in play, which is not something you see very often. They've still got the tools that they need to be able to contest this. Twent needs to be careful, given that this is a second floor bomb site. Not only is there pressure going to be coming from admin, there's going to be pressure coming from below. Pants and Boff running the frag grenades means that the vertical play needs to be thought about, and there needs to be some thought put into it. Edpan down in archives at the moment. He's the Oryx. He can look to come in for the pinch and catch some of these attackers off guard. If he can bait them in and then jump up through those hatches, back in from the flank, in through admin even, could prove absolutely devastating. And Pac-Man, he's still outside. He's still on the drones. Wants that security to go in for that plant. Boff prepping the nade. This is what I was talking about. Twent, he could be in a bit of trouble. He's going to pull way back, find himself secure for the moment. And that could have been disastrous.
Could have been, but that's now 2 frags that found nothing at all. So Fury pretty stoked on that one. They can just hunker down. This is a dangerous floor to be held in. As you can see, all of the floor below it, very soft. So if Big Dogs approach it from that angle, that can be super dangerous for Fury above, but this is a fair amount of time. They're forcing them away. Now just about to start looking down long desk, which is where a lot of these gunfights are really going to start going pretty hard. The rotates even to the other side of the room President's looking at are just gone. But a run out actually comes. It's Edpan to pick that one up. Quickly trade it back, but it could be the confusion, the chaos that Big Dogs are going to take advantage in as the plant now going down. Twent has to throw the shield away, but even that won't be enough. And the plant down. One man remains. It's Pun, and he is done. Big Dogs. They clench that round out.
Well, they put us on map point here. 1 round to go in regulation time. 1 round for Fury to equalize and take us to overtime, which, I mean, it presents a number of interesting opportunities. None more interesting than the fact that Fury would mean that they have 1 regulation round victory and 3 overtime losses if they do lose this and take it to OT, which is a far cry from what we expected. But we're going to be going to archives, tell us it is the bomb site that worked best for them on the defense. Hopefully they could pull this one out of the bag as well.
Oh, this one round is going to decide basically whether we have a very clear top 2 and then a gap to 3rd place, or if maybe Fury is going to mix themselves up there with the teams that are sitting above them in the leaderboard. Maybe even if they did drop it in overtime, it would still be reasonably close, like 1 week's games worth of close. But if Big Dogs just close it out here and now, skip that overtime, steal all 3 points for themselves, then they can feel very comfortable in their position on the leaderboard.
Well, 1 more chance for the Fury boys to bring it back, and interestingly enough, we are going to that same strategy. Open up the floors, open up those long angles, play around the nitro cells. President, he's far quieter than he has been as of late for this Fury roster. He's consecutive, if nothing else. And as we head into the action phase, Fury, they have this 1 last chance. They are going to lock things out all the way across to the garage. But they need to pull out something huge here. And Twent upstairs could be the one to open things up big.
Yeah, Twent, a little awkward on the last round, but let's see if he can make the magic happen where it is really needed. For sure, Fury have to bring out absolutely everything. Again, it's been a while since they've been on defense, but that was a pretty good half for them regardless, so I don't think they can be too upset about that at all. So, entry now into the basement. Big Dogs. You've got King Grills coming in along. He's being live droned as well. He's got to stay alive here, but he's also, in fact, got most of the team down here, so this is just a full-on basement push coming in from Big Dogs. And man, I wonder if Fury are going to be ready for this. I like how this is just so different to how they attacked it last time. You do not want to go to the kill box site. You want to go downstairs in the basement. So, King Grills, will he take this fight all the way down the hallway? Because their position, surely it's known by now.
Well, they're going for both sides, and seems in the clear. And Edpan, this circle stairs position, if he gets the call to retreat down and try and find the flank, it's a big chunk of damage he could do, but King Grills is waiting. Is anyone going to be dumb enough to walk in? Oh, Gemini just expires before it swings out and confirms his position. Edpan, this is such a power place for him to be sitting. If he can find King Grills here, if he can shut it down, if he can find Shaq even, who is now jumping in upstairs, they could blow this round wide open. King Grills, he's retreating back into security. He's waiting to play that angle. Edpan looking to lock this down, cut them off from garage. Angmo as well, prone with that older 5.56. Edpan, they surely know his positioning now. Shaq has to win this gunfight. He has to take him out of circle stairs so they can progress in. Otherwise, Fury are going to take this to OT.
This is going to be a very important hologram for Pants. He's actually going to run it upstairs, make sure no one is hanging around up there. But like you said, Edpan, his position also very important. Boff sneaking up onto the side. Shaq will be cut down on the attack. King Grill's also incredibly low. Pants dropping health too. Fury might be holding on to this one as they finally lock down Pants as well. Boff, he's sneaking around, but even he will be hunted down. Fury all but securing this round, all but making sure they're at least going to clinch 1 point, go to overtime. Pac-Man gets one where maybe he could just absolutely devastate Fury if this pulled off, but will not happen. We're going to overtime.
Well, interesting stuff here. They do take it to OT. I don't know whether this is Fury escaping the curse or not. Who can really say? But at this stage, if Big Dogs do take the win, they only progress up into second for the moment, and their Donuts still have their match to play. Fury, if they win this, they are joint third with the Big Dogs. I think it then comes down to round differential. But as we head into OT, Fury starting off on the attack. They really did start to pop off in the second half of the first 6 rounds played. I mean, whose curse is it? That's the question. Is it Shaq that is going to be the one to cost the Big Dogs here, or is it the Fury 1-5 curse that is going to cost them? It's hard to say.
I suppose it was never technically a 5-1, so maybe that's
I think
why
it's just round 5. As soon as round 5 is hit, that's when it starts to degrade.
Yeah, because I mean the first time it was 5-1, but I guess this confirms it, right? This will confirm exactly how the curse works if you can have it with not just one round on the opposing team. But here we go, first round of overtime. Are we seeing too many changes? Not really. The big one that stands out, of course, is Angmo sticking towards the Dokkaebi, so this is still going to be how they're looking to approach the basement site. It's been pretty good before. There's a lack of buck. It's not something that Fury brings, so instead they're going to really focus on, again, getting that piano control, getting the main lobby control. And to do that, they're very likely going to have to approach that from the top floor and basically do the same thing all the way down. So looking at the way Big Dogs are defending, that's absolutely going to be the approach.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse
Buff
it.
again, looking for a cheeky spawn peek from Yellow Stairs. It's not a very common spawn position, but there is at least one there. It's Pun. Oh, he's going to run out. Is he going to spot the head of Boff? He does have it 2 times, 1.5 times. Not enough. Neither player confirms any damage on the other. I mean, that's time, that's information now wasted. They know there's someone playing Yellow Shack, now playing in Visa Office itself. Fury, they're playing it safe, they're playing it smart. If they can get this round, put themselves in a position to close out the series, they're going to be doing it comfortably. And I mean, Angmo put in a lot of work last time on this Dokkaebi.
Most of the Fury wins last time they were on attack did come from finding Shaq, at least kind of early, particularly around that Yellow Stairs section. But the first early one's going to be Pac-Man. Maybe another one happens here as President in his battle. We'll go for the reverse swapperoo to see if that can trick up his opponent. But goes for it again just as the peak had come out. This battle's still going hard, but you look at what happened in the background. That's an attacker down for Fury. That's the sledge down for Fury.
Yeah, unfortunate there. They lose Alan Twin, who has been the big fragger for the team as well. Logic Bomb goes out. But security for the side of Big Dogs and stopping it, cancelling it out. Bot falls, Angmo finds that frag. The equalizer is there. Back at 4-4 in terms of man count as we head into the second half of this round. And they've got top floor control. They can start to mobilize and move into that first floor. Pinch down under the bomb site. Shaq, he's just in the cutout. He's in Harry Potter right now. Can he find anything? That plus king grills in public bathrooms could find some real damage if, I mean, drones haven't been used and king grills finds Prez. That's rough. Pants playing the hatch as well. Can pull Shaq down should he need to. And there we go. Opens up the hatch. Shaq retreats down into the basement. Big Dogs, they're looking good to take this away, but it's still not over.
Yeah, but here's the real test for Fury, right? They have hardly any soft breach left, so the piano floor is still mostly intact. In fact, you can see it now. Maybe there's some breaching charges left for Edpad. Maybe even just using the breaching rounds themselves could flush out some of these defenders. But apart from that, all you've got is this hatch. And Edpan, I'm sure he'd love to drop down it, but needs to clear out all these defenders too. And it also has to worry about flanks because their numbers aren't as good either. So Big Dogs have the freedom to go out and flush them out. But here comes some of the breaching charges. There was only one, and it's just a return fire from Shaq. He's so brave. He wants to fight it back. And so now, no killer piece though. It's Fury that have got to move in. Oh, Shaq has gone up so aggressively, holding the door, making them ask questions all of the time. Where is he going to be standing? Pac-Man, also another X Factor in this one, tries to cut off on stairs, but 7 seconds left, Panda. They've got to go in. Angmo's down, and there goes the rest of Fury. The first round of overtime goes to the Big Dogs.
We are looking to repeat history of Fury's matchup against Skyfire, unfortunately. They lost the first round OT, then lost the second as well. Luckily, Fury, they head to the defensive side of things. If we see them head to Archives Tellers, which has been a phenomenal bomb site for them, it is the one that is working, and no surprises that they pull it out here in round number 14. They need this win. They want this win. And if they can pull it out, if they can take it to double OT, give themselves one more shot, I do believe that they have a chance of doing it, given that basement is no longer on the table, which means we have to see press or lobby or console come out. Should we go there? They've still got to win this one just yet, but this bomb site, I mean, it has been a hard one to attack for the side of Big Dogs.
Yeah, I mean, just the way that Fury hold it, I feel like it just throws questions into Big Dog's minds because they approached it two different ways. In one going through Archives and then the other just going straight on through the basement. Both times not quite working out, but I think the second time certainly had a bit more success. So I think Big Dogs will go for that kind of push again, but you never know because they've now had two chances to try and test it out to see exactly how they want to approach it. You look at what Fury are going to do to this bomb site here, and surely there's only one option, and that's go basement.
Well, we've seen it work for them phenomenally previously. 4 Nitro cells on the board, plus that Evil Eye setup as well. The off-site presence has been just as deadly as their on-site presence. Pre-placed Nitro cell below that admin window. This is rough. President is on the job too, feeding that information, waiting for the call. And Pants decides better of it for the moment. Don't know if he has that information on the Nitro cell, but I mean, the call has been made to pull off that angle entirely. That could have been absolutely crippling. Losing the Iana off the bat. It's information that no longer would have been available to them.
Changing mags.
Well, so far, Fury, they're playing it the same way. They're looking to hold things down in the exact same fashion. Or if Pac-Man goes in here, that Nitro cell would not only find the kill onto the Ace, but the Defuser as well. And given that Twent is up here still, could find a big pinch in and find some big frags off it.
Yeah, and you know President is just watching that entry too, so the moment that Pac-Man goes in, he is going to be calling it out. He sees it now, and there it is. Ed Pan with the call will pick up the Nitro cell on the diffuser holder. Pac-Man goes down.
Inside admin as well, which is a position they now have to retake. They need to get control of it back, and with President feeding that information through, it becomes that much harder. They've still got to then clear out the second floor. Shaq is over towards console, so at least he can provide some pressure there. But already, time is such a factor for Big Dogs. They need to get into the bomb site, look to go for the plant, even go for the kills. And President is making it so much harder. One player close, spray through the floor. It's not going to find anything. But it's just pressure. It is continuous pressure that is mounting for the Big Dogs. They need to be wary of this player below. If they can find a frag onto them, that'd be huge. Oh, this could be absolutely brutal. He's playing on top of the hatch. At least they've got that security. Big Dogs know that they can play on those reinforced hatches, give them some security against the Nitro cells, but we're heading into the final minute here, Smite. They need to explode, and now Twin, he's found yet another King Grills Falls. It's looking good, like we might go to double OT here, unless the Big Dogs pull out something huge.
Yeah, I mean, President hasn't even used his Nitro cell yet. Just the threat of it is keeping Big Dogs so far away. And Big Dogs, they're still opening things up all the way upstairs just to get anything they can in this final battle here. 30 seconds left, 3v5, and defenders all over the place, and they're every footstep tracked. The drop comes out, and they're going for the plant. President trying to lock down anyone that's still upstairs. Nitro cell up above, doesn't actually find anything, but it's a team kill from Fury. Do they find what they're looking for? Because the plant is going down. Boff looking to complete that one. Down from circle stairs comes Fury to try and stop this one cut off at the entrance, and only Edpan is remaining here. Can he move in to get this retake? 35 seconds left to keep Big Dogs away.
Edpan in a 1v2 clutch situation. He was able to do it last week, but this time around he might not be as lucky. Can he find anything here? Time is just ticking away from him. He's got to find a big opener. Unfortunately, no. It seems that the Fury curse is just that much worse. Their own worst enemy, their Angmo, taking out their primary fragger, means that once again, Fury will lose in overtime. Shaq and all chat yet again. They just managed to escape it. That unfortunate that Fury just can't. Oh boy. Come on, Pac-Man. Don't do the boys like that. But look at that. Big numbers. Twent leading the scoreboard 16, 2, and 12. President, he doesn't quite show up the way he has previously in Fury. The rest of the team, this is, again, unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, you really got to feel for the boys over at Fury, but at the same time, you know Big Dogs really needed that win too. I mean, either side's not going to be super stoked to get it done during overtime, but Big Dogs, I'm sure there's going to be a bit of a sigh of relief, particularly after their results last week, right? They really wanted to come back and have a showing. A win, overtime or not, that's going to be enough to set their mind at least a little bit at ease.
I mean, yeah, look, it's a win on the board. They did get taken to overtime, so it's not the full 3 points that they were probably hoping for. But hey, look, a win is a win at the end of the day, whether it's regulation time or overtime. I mean, it gives them a bit more security after last week that it was just a one-off thing. Kingrel's back in the roster, stepping up and going huge for the guys. It's going to be interesting. Big Dogs versus Skyfire next week, though. That's going to be the true test.
Yeah, but of course we've still got 2 more games tonight, so make sure you stick around because coming up after the break, we've got Pride taking on Hack You Asians. Welcome back, everyone. We are now, I think that's officially the halfway mark, Panda, as we are now into week 3.5, I guess, of the Oceanic Challenger League for Rainbow Six Siege. And man, of course it had to go to overtime between those two teams. Poor Fury, but hey, look, Big Dogs managing to pick up the win. That's got to feel pretty good for them. You're going to have to remember to unmute yourself. I know it's very good practice to do between the breaks.
Yeah, look, it is what it is. I was just trying to wrap my head around what had just happened. And look, Big Dogs, they're going to be happy giving themselves that better shot. At the moment, they're sitting second place. It really does depend on how that donut LFO matchup does go. Now, Prolific Esports, if you do follow them, so that's who we'll be referring to them as Prolific. They got picked up this week, so it'll be interesting to see how that does play out for them. But they're playing on later tonight, so it'll be interesting to see if they can keep that second place for themselves. Because I mean, at this stage, all they really need is the 2 points, I believe, to do it. So an overtime win will still secure second place for Donut LFO Prolific, if you will. But that's not our matchup. We have another one instead coming our way. It is going to be, of all people, Pride versus Haku Asians, two teams who have topped and tabled min-max, if you will, in terms of results. So coming into this, I'm interested to see which team lands on their feet. We saw Pride come in last week. Very, very solid performance. We saw all 5 players step up. Namni, who has been quiet for the most part this season, came on board, found some big frags for the team, and was instrumental in how that one played out. So hopefully, coming into this week, he finds that same stride. Yeah,
I mean, look, let's just take a look at him and the rest of the team lineup here for Pride. Echo, Pluto, Elements, like you already mentioned, Namni, and of course, Kieran coming in tonight. So we've said a lot about Namni, but for the rest of the team, I mean, I know you praise Elements a lot, but what else glues this team together?
Well, if you've been following social media, the boys have been posting about Kieran stepping away from the team. That's not true. He is playing tonight. That's just them having a bit of a meme trying to throw
They were lying to us?
Yeah, it was all a lie. Interesting, though. So Echo, who is now part of the main roster, formerly the coach, has stepped in to fill the role of, I believe it was Arbiter, Arbiter was formerly there. He's got the university on, so he can't quite stick with the team, but a very, very solid player in his own right. Unfortunately, they lose him. Echo has proved himself quite capable, plays some slightly, whatever he needs to. He is the fill. Pluto, great on the hard reach, plays a very, very solid anchor position for the team. And then Kieran rounding things out, again, playing a very, very solid flex. Their opponents, though, however, Haku Asians, they've been a little bit all over the board, so we'll get them up now for you so we can have a look at them as well. On your screen, it's Pika, Raindrops, Wazoo, Jumpstream, and Zane. An interesting roster on the whole. They beat Fury to kick things off in this season in week number 1, our third matchup of that night. You know, the last 2 weeks, they lost 7-3 to the Big Dogs, and then they just got absolutely monstered 7-1 by Donut LFO. So coming into this week, both teams are currently sitting in a position where they'd like to be a little bit further ahead than they are. Pride, they got a regulation win, whereas Haku Asians, their win was in overtime, so they got slightly less points. But this roster, they have some incredibly capable players, and as we head into the head-to-head matchup, I've picked these two for a reason. They are two players who have an immense amount of potential. That's Boff, unfortunately, on the side of Pika. That's the wrong profile picture. We just saw Pika a moment ago, but it is Namni and Pika. Namni and Pika have a huge amount of potential, incredibly gifted when they play their game very well. They have yet to show up in a significant way other than one performance each this season. Pika in the opening match against Fury, Namni last week against the Swingsman. This week, they need to shine, they need to step up, they need to be toeing the line with the rest of the team, because if they do that, if they can show up for their respective teams, it could be anyone's game.
I wonder how Buff snuck in there. I mean, look, he was obviously not satisfied enough with his Justice win, so he wants to come in here and maybe show off a little bit more. But you're right, it may well come down to that 1v1 at the end. So, man, look, I'm keen to find out what map we're going on to. I actually didn't check it this time, so this one will legitimately be a surprise to me. But, but is it really Consulate again?
Yeah, we are going back to Consulate once again here. It's the most play we've seen of it so far this season. Interesting, though, Cafe Dostoevsky was banned out first by Pride, which is the map that, we saw Haku Asians take away from Fury in week number 1. But we see Oregon, Coastline, and Clubhouse being banned out by the Haku Asians. Interesting stuff. It is the final result. Pride take out Chalet and Villa as well. But it's Consulate. We've seen this map. it is one, again, that has been done to death. A lot of people say it's a little bit stale in the comp pool at the moment, but there's no insane, crazy strategies that you're going to be seeing. It is one that will allow both teams to come in and frag heavily, and this is something that both teams play very well. They have incredibly competent fraggers. I will say time and time again, Pride, one of the most mechanically gifted teams in this competition, and this is a map that will suit them well. Not quite as well as something like Coastline, but it is still a map that will play well for them.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just surprised that it did come out as Consulate again. I mean, the only time we're seeing it is tonight, 2 maps in a row. But it's interesting because you say Hackuations are the team that banned both Oregon and Clubhouse, as well as a third, which I didn't pay attention to. But it's those 2 maps that you're really looking at, right? Because if you're the team that bans both Oregon and Clubhouse, you're the one at the very least telling the other team, okay, we want to do something a little different, right? Even if it does come down to Consulate, which, like you said, a lot of teams have kind of worked out, it's still keeping teams on their toes, keeping them fresh, because maybe they haven't seen it in a competitive match for a while, so now let's throw them a bit of a curveball and bring them into Consulate.
Yeah, look, we saw it played out in our last one, so it's going to be interesting to see if we see a similar play style coming out here from either of these 2 teams. It is going to be Hackuation starting off on the defense, and it will be Capital being banned out. That one specifically being targeted at Echo, who, pride their victory last week. He was a key player on the attack. He played a lot of Capital in those attacking rounds, so this is very much a target ban. Plus, he's very, very good on this map. Anyway, look, this is anyone's game. Pride, what do they take away here? Do we see a Thatcher? I would have to anticipate, yes, it's going to be that way. So Nomad left in the pool will be available to play here. But there's still a lot of questions that need to be asked. Either team needs this win. It's no 2 ways about it. Both teams want to escape the bottom of the scoreboard. They want to make playoffs. They want to make that gauntlet. And as we head into the defensive bans, Valkyrie, again, a lot of sense being made here.
Yeah, so, I mean, look, for the final ban coming up, I am probably expecting maybe something a little special because Hackuations did throw out the Capital ban. They do stick to standard, though. They don't want to be the one caught out by having to deal with a mirror on the defense, right? It's always super annoying when you do just leave that one out. But they throw out the Capital ban first, which means they're telling their opponents, they're telling Pride, all right, you guys have to deal with the Thatcher ban, or we're going to get to play Nomad. But, of course, Pride's the one that are going first on attack.
Well, archives tell us the initial bomb site, it would seem, here for the Hackuations, heading all the way downstairs. Pika on the Vigil. In week number 1, we saw him bounce back from his unfortunate attacking half to pick up the Vigil on defense and go absolutely off. Wazoo picking up the Pulse and then across the attacking lineup. Elements on Zofia. Namni on the Buck. No surprise, the Echo. That Phil, he's going to be picking up the Nomad as well. Pluto, the hard breacher for the team. Well, there's a lot that could be said of these rosters. A lot that could be said of this setup. The stage is here. It is set. It is ready to go. Is it going to be Namni coming online? Is it going to be Pika? Are both of them going to come online? And we're going to see a full double OT come out. Either team wants this victory desperately. So the onus is on them to pick it up and run with it.
Yeah, and I feel like both teams are actually going to be very momentum-based, right? Like, I mean, yeah, we've seen Hackuations come back from almost certain defeat against Fury, but that's really the only other time, right? Other times they've been both teams have actually been sort of kept down pretty far and never really given an opportunity to come back up. We've only really seen it a little bit from Hackuations, and that was 2 weeks ago, or almost 3 weeks ago at this point. So momentum, gonna be a big deal here. The team that takes the lead early is gonna have just such a big advantage, just in terms of morale, momentum. It's a big deal when you're coming up to what we've been talking about as a pretty must-win match.
Interesting. We do see Testa coming back into the lineup this week. I know there was talk about him stepping away because he had other commitments that he needed to fulfill. So he's going to be back in the roster for tonight at the very, very least, looking to step in and fill that void. As they did have a couple of other roster upsets as well earlier in this season. At the moment, Pride, they're getting things done early, starting to open up a lot of these vertical positions, getting that top floor control so they can progress down and contest onto the bomb site itself. A lot of drones set up in great positions here, looking for that information. Tester, you can see him as well, flicking the cams, looking for that early entry point for Pride, figure out where they are, and he loses the camera just outside of console, so they have that information. You can see him running around with his little Polaroid camera looking for that information, but he's only spotting a handful, so that means there are unknown entities here.
Yeah, he's about to get a fair amount of, or he was about to get a fair amount of intel heading over in Piano, because you've already got Kieran on the inside. You had another player who was about to move on in, I imagine, but Kieran, he's toying with, does he go downstairs? Does he help clear out the top floor? This is half the round dedicated to clearing out this top floor. They're clearing it out very efficiently, like, we got to give them that, and they will get some pretty decent control of these stairs here, but look at how much time, just some of these random bullet holes are starting to show off. There is a defender in there, so they will have to now deal with this. This is what they've been spending all that time on to get him down, and he just books it. He just gets out of there, and they get absolutely nothing. 2 minutes now down the drain. Yeah, sure. Pride have the top floor, but now they've got a 1 minute execute to go.
It was Pika. He gets out of admin just, and Pride will be left kicking themselves that they couldn't find that opportunity and exploit it. But they have the vertical control. They can start setting up to pressure onto the bomb site for the moment. Kieran playing circle stairs, looking to find any opening that he can on the drones as well. Just trying any information they can find is going to be absolutely huge. Blow this round wide open. That 2-floor extension that Tester is now contesting in storage. It's a big angle. If you can find a kill off, it can absolutely destroy any chance of Pride coming back into this. But there we go. Kieran finds the open to Pika, falls, headshot. Wazoo hit with a flash grenade to deny the plant for the moment. It's going to be information fed through here to test it, to secure it. 14 seconds left on the clock. They still have some information on top of the table. He's got to thread the needle. It's M1014 as well. He blows it. He gets the kill onto Echo. 6 seconds left. They've denied the plant once again, but Elements is there to pick it up where his teammate fell. Kieran's still holding circle stairs. Does he get the player? No, he doesn't. It's a nitro cell. A third in a row. 3 nitros onto 3 planters to deny the round here. And it will be going the way of Hackuasias to kick things off. A long arm nitro toss. And that, I mean, it's just how you play the bomb site.
Yeah, I mean, their goal was clearly to clear out that storage below the site, but if they can't do that, you see what happens when they try to go for the plant. There's just nitro cells everywhere. There are bullet holes everywhere through the floor. You have to basically climb up on this tiny little desk just to plant, and you're in danger of so many other angles after that. So a good hold by Hackuasias, important for them to hold that storage, and they managed to do exactly that. Pika making the great escape too. I think that just played so much into it as well. Oh yes, it actually happens.
We are going to see the Lord himself coming into play for the first time here in the Oceanic Challenger League, the inaugural season, the inaugural pick of it as well. And of course, he's running the DP27. No surprises there whatsoever. It's how they play it is the real question. Wazoo going to be doubling down on that pulse as well. And, well, I mean, it's how do you play the Tachanka? He's great at editing sites. His gun, it's not the greatest in heads-up 1v1s. But it's all about the Shamika launcher. You can stall out around that yellow door. You can stall out around the push into the bomb site through the garage breach.
10 seconds to insert.
But I mean, Zane, this could be an audacious play.
5 seconds to insert.
Yeah, it's certainly a brave one. Plenty of stairs and all that to drop the Shamikas on. Plenty of choke points, but I guess we'll have to find out. Zane's probably not on the operator that's going to die first. You've got to hope at least. So look to see if he's alive near the end of the round. That's going to be a big deal. Wazoo should pretty safely at least be able to track the entry coming in from Pride here. So there should be no real danger to him. Maybe he can even pick up a C4 kill for free at the start of the round. But I imagine he's already... Oh no, he hasn't booked it out just yet. Just wants to wait to call the intro on those attackers. Echo is also not going to be droning him out just yet. It's going to be upstairs that they're really interested in. Oh, that pest not catching anything. Oh, it's just countered by a run out. Pika just popping that one out and easily getting back inside.
Unfortunate that you lose the Nomad first. Information is so key on a map like Consulate. If you can find a run out like that, it can be devastating. The flank watch crippled now for Pride. They're going to have to win it on gunfights alone. It's basement once again, obviously, from archives tellers to basement, garage, and cafeteria. It looks like the call has been made. Hackuasias all going to rotate down into the basement wires. Who are going to be extending over to archives for the moment. And that just begs the question, what do Pride need to do? They struggled the opening couple of weeks. They did not find themselves that avenue in. And now, last week, they popped up. They went absolutely huge against the Swings, but they need to do the same here again. Namni as well needs to step up, go big. He's playing the Bucks this time around, so not the hard entry that we're used to seeing him as, but he can still find frags, he can still contribute, and Elements as well, the other half of that coin. They both need to go huge.
Yeah, but here's the important thing. They've got control of Piano, but Pika is still on his rampage as he's found Kieran now and just, I imagine, booked it out for free. Yes, he has. Just gotten out with a slither of health, but that's enough to have a big effect on the end of the round. But back to what I was saying. Pride have Piano room, so they can at least get plenty of vertical control and maybe force some of these attackers, defenders out of the garage, allow for a bit of a default plant, but it's still a lot of work. It's still a 3v5. They're going to rely on winning a lot of gunfights here, and Wazoo might be the first challenge as they're both inching towards it. He wanted the kill with the pistol, but Pika is there to clean it up anyway. This leaves now only 2 attackers and 40 seconds of a dream.
Bomb located by attackers.
3 kills in round number 2, and only a sliver of health. Raindrop signs the kill on Hanamdi. Takes him down with that commando, and Pluto stuck outside the breach. Only has a handful of options, and, well, unfortunately, finding a kill is not one of them. Tester damages him very heavily, and those Shamika launches mean it's impossible to get to the site. Spots the head of Pika, but can't find it. Just playing in security. Zane, in fact, who was all the way back deep, will be traded out immediately. The bucket helmet does fall. The first time it's picked, the first death it's had. Unfortunately, Zane could not find a kill with it, though.
So the first question I'm going to ask, actually in regards to those windows we see on their loading screen, right, is Echo's first death came from a run out from Pika onto a window that you very commonly see nomaded off. So either he didn't nomad it with the air jab, or it was just shot out by Pika and somehow silently done that. We saw Echo droning, so he had just left himself in a position to be shot out by a run out. Yeah, you can maybe rely on that not happening most of the time, but the time it does happen, it's just a free kill for Pika. He got in, no damage returned on him, so yeah, that's going to be a rough one to have. It's still, again, you know, it's still early rounds, so you can still make this nomad work, but we're still really yet to see some big air jab, anything having an effect.
Unfortunate, the Heck You Asians coming and swinging, and Pika online early is a bleak indicator here for the Pride fans. It's not at all what you want to be seeing, because when Pika starts finding those frags, he is very much a steam engine. If he finds any heat, any momentum, he is going to keep rolling until he's forced to stop. They found it in round number 1, but on top of that, they haven't been able to find much to shut him down. 3 kills, in that last round. Almost, in fact, entirely unanswered. He was not fragged out, and he was on such little health for the majority of it. Pride, they need to be doing something a little bit different. They need to be finding some other avenue to shut him down, because he could very much run away with this, and that was the reason I picked him and Namdi as the player head-to-head.
Yeah, we've been waiting for a match where Pika just pops off from the beginning, and it's good to see that is already happening. Question is, can he keep it up for the entire game? At least for now, 2 rounds in the pocket, looking pretty good for Hackuation. So coming into this next one, let's see what they can pull out, because Pride, I feel like they're still warming up. Echo has not had the hottest few rounds, so once he gets going, he can at least pull his weight in the match, despite being the coach sub-in. He can definitely do that. We just need to make sure he doesn't get caught out like in the previous round. Maybe get some of the value from those air jabs. At least get into the position where, Nomad has at least got the important air jabs off, so that you're not being flanked by anything, by Pika, by anyone roaming back up from downstairs, like Tester. May a little bit later on. He's got this cheeky angle on the window, so no one should be jumping in here without him knowing about it. But surely they've seen the holes in the floor, and they'll be aware of that too. So back to the other gunfights hanging around at the window. This is also where a lot of Consulate is make or break, and it looks like Elements is going to be the one to break first.
Zane, he's very capable with this SMG-11. He'll play the smoke mute on the defense, he'll play the sledge on the attack. Just as capable with those frag grenades. The man is absolutely wild on those entry picks. So no surprises that he found the opener there, and unlucky that it is onto Elements as well. This is a traditional vertical hold. He finds 2, in fact. Echo falls. Wazoo with the Nitro onto Pluto. It's all coming apart here for Pride. 3 players very, very early taken down. With a minute left to play, at least Kieran is going to deny the flawless as he swings in aggressively into connector and takes out Zane. Pika rotates down closer to the bomb site, pulls into public. He's going to be safe for the moment, but it just gives him more room to work with, more chances to shut down this attacking lineup. And with only 2 of them remaining, Kieran and Namdi, I mean, stratospheric isn't quite enough. They need to go intergalactic here to pull this round out of the bag.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a big one, particularly with their movements being tracked. But Namni has found Pika, and that is a big frag to be had here in the final moments of the round. But his teammate falling in the background, Banshee whirring away. Namni's life not going to be much longer.
3 rounds in a row here for Haku Asians. And those unanswered questions coming back to haunt Pride, I think, a little bit. Not out of it just yet. They by no means are they out of it yet. But look, as it stands, they are looking a little bit less than secure. We did see it, obviously, last map where, 3 rounds taken very early by the big dogs, and Fury brought it back to go 3.5. But Pride, I mean, this is feeling eerily similar to their week 1 and 2 performances. Oh, excuse me. And not at all like what we saw last week. So hopefully, I mean, tac pause, anything is going to be enough to bring them back into this matchup.
Yeah, they've pulled out the tac pause, so I think this is probably the ideal position to do it. Maybe an argument for doing it a round earlier even, but yeah, 3 rounds in a row down, none of them looking particularly close. Pride have got to change something up. Something else has got to work. Wazoo getting a ton of value on that pulse in the second or the previous round there. He was just tracking the entire western side of the building. Basically, any entry from admin was being tracked. So even if he wasn't the one to get the C4 kill, which he was, someone else would be there to pick up the other frags from downtown too. So I just think that was invaluable there for Haku Asians to pull that one off. Now they go back to the split site. Archives tell us Pulse even more value on this one, arguably just so much vertical play, and the danger of nitro cells ripping off your feet is always there. You look at the defender's side, no surprises to see 4 out of 5 operators running that nitro cell.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it before. The way to counter this bomb site is you take the second floor, you open up those vertical angles from the second floor because you can't long on the nitro cells that far. You need to be playing those long-range vertical angles. Your guns are going to be better in those long-range fights. You're going to be able to win more of them heads up, and you can give your teammates better coverage from those angles. That, or you take down below, you deal with the players in the basement, you get control of archives, you plant there, and you win the round. But at the moment, it's not necessarily a strategy that a lot of ANZ teams are currently playing, and the way that Haku Asians are approaching Concealed, very aggressive, very roam heavy. If they can find those openings, then they will utilize them. And Wazoo, at the moment, he's playing his homage to MT Jax, playing the M1014 Pulse. So we've seen more of it today than we have at all in the Oceanic Challenge League.
Man, Pride they're getting pretty thorough on checking everything out here because they're watching for any kind of runouts, which is certainly something they should have been worried about, throughout this game. So no surprises to see that popping off just a little bit. See a Mozzie drone also. I think it even got away for Tester, so another big value if you can keep that up in the upstairs side of the building. Gonna be tons of value for them, but some quick little move-ins coming in from Elements, getting him inside from White Stairs. This is going to be an important angle because he wants to deal with raindrops. Once they get rid of him, top floor control will be a lot easier. But as we can see, there are 2 players upstairs. Elements marching down the long desk, has to constantly watch for any kind of flanks coming out from Split, but Echo is now there. They've got all 3 now covering it up. The air jabs to cut off any kind of flanks, so strong control already, and not even doing too bad for time either. But here's where it happens. Here's crunch time, because they need to win these gunfights, or at the very least, force them down the hatches.
At the moment, 1 minute 30 left in the clock, 90 seconds to play here as we head in further and further into round number 4. They're getting that vertical control. They're taking admin. They're doing what they can to extend some of those long angles, make it that much harder for the boys on the Haku Asian side to contest. Wazoo and Zane downstairs, they're looking to team up for that nitro cell play again. It's how Haku Asians won this bomb site the first time around. And well, we do already see some changes coming through. Pluto, this time he's on the ace rather than the Hibana. They'll have the smoke to cover the cross and the plant should they need to go for it. But we're heading into the final minute. Not a single point of damage done either way. There we go. Namni, they are going for that setup. They're going for those aggressive long vertical angles, opening up the floor down below. But it's just not... Haku Asians aren't giving them an inch.
Yeah, it's the exact kind of angle that they're looking for. Oh no! Wazoo! He catches someone just completely standing still above him, is rewarded for it the moment they step foot in that site. So quickly they move in, grab the diffuser, and retreat out. But man, they're going to go for it again. Echo going for a plant, but it's bait. And you hear the C4 go up, but Testa mows down elements in the background. Echo finally completing this plant. Wazoo searching his darndest for him, but eventually we'll find it, but it's too little too late. As Pride, they get the plant down, can run out and make this a retake opportunity, but it's a 2v4 Panda. Oh no, Wazoo finds Echo from below. Make that a 1v4 retake scenario.
Kieran, the not-so-departed player on this roster, still ready and going. Doesn't quite have the line of sight he needs onto the diffuser. So he's going to have to play this one swinging in. Test the first one to fall, but there is a player close on his heels. It is going to be Raindrops. Wazoo on the defuse as well. 4 rounds on the rip there will mean that Hacky Asians taking a very commanding and uncharacteristic defensive half here on Consulate.
Yeah, and for that one, it just came down to the fact they were able to stay alive in storage. Such a strong position. And they're just aware of the 2-floor vertical hold, right? Where, you know, there's someone just sitting miles ahead, basically untouchable when you try to retaliate. So instead, they just play into that. They just stay completely out of line of sight, or maybe tease it a little bit so someone stays up there. And as soon as it comes to crunch time, when Pride actually have to move and actually stand on the point at some point, that's when they get ripped apart from below. Wazoo finding a ton of value on that pulse again. Oh, they're going to try it again.
And Zane! He's going to double down on it here in the basement. They've obviously been stratting with the Russian Lord himself. And we see the respect being paid here. Kieran going to bring the IQ out this time to try and deal with this pulse that has been the bane of Pride's existence. They're reading into it. They're trying to counter. They're trying to find some avenue into this matchup. Even if they can secure a 4-2 half split, they can bounce back from it on the defense. But that is a tall order. It is a hard task, to say the very least. Well, at the moment, there are a lot of unfortunate similarities to week 1 and 2 for Pride.
Yeah, I feel like just in general, we've seen a few games go in this way this season so far. But yeah, Pride, I feel like this is just, like you said, the moment that they have to come back is now. A 1-5 half would just be kind of devastating. And even then, you wonder, like, can they manage to pick up even after that, right? Like, you know, they're just going to need some sort of momentum here to really feel like they've got a chance in this round. Pika, the man had a hot start. It's slowed down a little bit, but not bad by any means at all. I think the rest of his team is stealing his kills, to be honest. And this man here is a big reason for that. Wazoo gobbling up all the Nitro Cell kills, even stealing a few frags away for himself, but right now, he's just intel gathering. Not going to be able to find too much 2 floors down.
Well, again, Pride, they do get some good vertical control to kick things off. They take the 2nd floor. There is only one player who is resisting at the moment. That's Pika playing top yellow. He'll go toe-to-toe with Elements. Comes out on top in the health battle, but it's still damage being traded both ways for the moment. But this is exactly what he's looking to do. He's playing the roam game. He's looking to stall, delay time, waste utility on the side of Pride, and he's been doing that to a T. Elements now going to try and follow him down, but it is basement. It is garage. They need to get in position to pick it up. Drone thrown by Elements will give away the fact that someone is nearby. But again, they just pull off the angle. They don't need to be over-aggressing in these situations. And Pika finds Echo yet again. This man is being bullied.
Oh, man. And again, the question is how many air jabs were laying down. But Pika will be cut off on the retreat. But yeah, the value of Echo is only really going to show up when he gets those air jabs down. I think he got a few of the important ones, so they'll have upstairs control. That's at least guaranteed. But like you said, this is a basement hold, so they need to actually touch foot down here, right about where Wazoo is kind of looking. I wonder if they'll tease him a little bit here because he'll want to get that C4 frag for free, and we'll be in a decent position for it. Just waiting for the perfect time, a second too late, and Namdi turns around and thanks his lucky stars for that one, but realizes, hey, I got a bit more freedom to open everything up.
He's going to start opening things up, but so is Pluto for the moment. The Cade trick comes out, but I mean, that's an angle that Pluto can now utilize to cut off the backside of White Van. Not an avenue into the bomb site. Speaking of, Kieran is the one trying to find it. He's trying to shoot out the electrical. Look at Tester. He's prone, contesting the angle between both white van and black car. Elements, if he can find a vertical play here, if he can shut him down, that's security in the plant. It comes down to Shamika launches. But Tester, he's still here. He's still waiting. A stun grenade would be big damage. And there should be no way that he can contest this. Does he even have an... Oh, Pluto! No, he has no clue. 2 for the round. Tester finds a third almost. And it's going to be Namni to take him back with 7 seconds left in the round. No chance, no hope. Raindrop shuts it out. And Hackuasians, 5 rounds on the rip.
Ah, dear me. Pride really thought that they could just get in. I mean, they kind of had to get in there with the time they had left and just win the gunfights, because even the diffuser carrier knew he had to win that gunfight. Otherwise, it was just going to be curtains for them to get back to the diffuser with, I think they had maybe 8 seconds left when the first kills actually came out. Very hard to make their way all the way back. They're really just looking for all the frags. But at the end of the day, I think Hackuasians just had way too much freedom to get out of there. I mean, Pika being an absolute menace, drawing down the time, does eventually get traded out, but got a lot of value for what he was able to pull out there. And then the rest of his team just kind of followed up. I mean, everyone else playing perfectly well. So Hackuasians, they want to make this a 6-0 half, and they're almost there. A few little 6 picks coming out, but nothing crazy to be swapped onto. But we do get Wazoo onto the Maestro. That's not going to be a pulse anymore. So let's see what this guy can do with something that's not a heartbeat scanner in his hands.
Well, it's going to be something a little bit more significant, I think. The older 5.56, the bullet hose itself, it's such a deadly weapon, especially if you're lining up for them. But Pride, they've got to be absolutely kicking themselves. This is a far cry from what we saw last week. Far cry from what we know they're capable of. And at the moment, we head into what is going to be round number 6, the final round of the half. At least they could say that they've shut down Pika somewhat. This is not the runaway performance that we expect them from him. But unfortunately, Hackuasians, the rest of the team, has stepped up to fill that void.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem, right? Is Hackuasians are very clearly not a team that just relies on Pika anymore. They can do well when he's not popping off. Yeah, he popped off at the start, got some pretty monster first few rounds, but hasn't needed them since then, right? The rest of his team easily picking up the slack, and like I've been saying, right, it's almost been his team actually just stealing his kills rather than him doing all that poorly, right? So, yeah, Hackuasians, they're looking on form. Pride, yeah, I feel like everything is just falling a little bit short here at the moment. They're giving up control fairly easily, but also not able to capitalize on Hackuasians, letting them have plenty of freedom to get away, escape, rotate, and be a nuisance later on in the round. Always a difficult task, so I'm not saying it's easy, but that certainly seems where Hackuasians have them by their number, right? They can get out of almost anything.
No, I'm not convinced there was someone in public, and there is, it's Wazoo, playing with the older 5.56, and just not able to find the angle he needed to. Cam's coming into play here. Those Evil Eyes are absolutely brutal. Echo getting the air jabs into position to deny some of that vertical play. Needs to find some shots here. Needs to start picking up some of those key frags, enabling his team to get in and get some rounds. Doesn't even need to have to pick up big frags. Element's the first one to fall. It's Raindrops, but a lot of damage dealt back to him. Pluto as well going to be tagged up. As Pride once again being contested very heavily. Pluto swinging into Piano. It is going to be Tester on the mute waiting in. Frag grenade throw, and Raindrops just able to escape their top yellow for the moment. And Tester takes the hit up cleanly from Kieran. Drone goes in, they spot him, but what does it achieve? He's going to throw a Nitro Cell towards the door. Not quite the threat he was hoping it would be. Nitro Cell tossed out of yellow stairs as well, but damage being done early. 1 minute left at the clock. Elements and Kieran off the board. 3 players remaining. This looks like Pride might go down to a 6-0 half. Tester with the jump out knife play onto Echo. Air jab will go off. Pluto finds a kill onto Raindrops, but it's very much a case of too little too late. Namni has to go huge here. What can he find? Is a player tucked in by the statue? He's going to find that kill. Onto Pika to go down 3 versus 2 for the moment. Pride might still actually be able to win this. Namni, he's going to go punch out that air jab. Tester has rotated back into the bomb site, playing circle disc. SMG-11, the pink's coming out from the cams. Can he find the frag? Namni just ducking around the door. Won't go down just yet. Tester is on a sliver of hell, so really All it's going to take is a single bullet. Can he spot him through the briefcase? It's such a tight angle to be playing. Zane finds Pluto. It's all on the shoulders of Namni with 11 seconds to play. A drop shot, a drop prone play into Piano, and Zane takes it. Asians with a flawless half here against Pride.
Yeah, and that one just felt like the snowball has gathered way too much momentum here for Asians. They steamroll through that round. Raindrops was alive in the yellow stairs for way longer than he really should have been. They were committing frags onto him just to get that last 10% of his health. They had no one on the window either to repel and at least cut him off. No one on the skylight above, so he actually just had plenty of room to move around upstairs, and they just couldn't get him. Testa, of course, making sure that there was a cutoff on anyone ascending the yellow stairs to keep him alive a bit longer. And then, of course, you can't forget Assassin's Creed, where Testa just fully jumps out the window, knifes his opponent, and gets a freebie to run straight back inside.
Yeah, bleak, to say the very least, as we see Pride heading onto the defense. Zane as well, going to be picking up the line. Interesting that Raindrops is the one to pick up the sledge. Zane has been phenomenal with frag grenades in the hand, playing a lot of sledge so far for the Asians. But we are in a scary, very precarious position right now. We could see our first 7-0 of the season being dealt to Pride, who had a lot of promise coming into this and just haven't quite been able to find it. They've had some roster troubles. They've had some internal conflict as well. And this is not going to do any measure of help to that situation. Hopefully, though, they can at least deny the flawless win. It's going to be a hard task with the Lion and no man on the board. Any flanks are going to be brutally cut down.
5 seconds.
Yeah, but here's the time for Asians to show us they're not just a one-trick side. They're not all about the defense. They can still make some magic happen on the attack as well. At least give us one massive one for the flawless round. Because as much as it might hurt for Pride, this is the exact type of game Asians needed going into this week. It's going to boost them up from close to the bottom of the leaderboard. It's going to give them, I mean, if they close it out here, 3 points. But importantly, just that morale, that momentum to say, look, there is an absolute mess in the middle of the leaderboard, so we can definitely crack in there to playoffs. A game like this shows that they can absolutely do that, especially a 7-0. So let's see if one last time they can close it out.
Well, there's still at least one more match to go after this, and depending on how Exto does, if we see Asians pick this up, they will secure themselves top 5 for the moment. Obviously, if Exto do pick themselves up any points, that will change. But as things are, this has not been the greatest of showings from Pride. As much as we want to see them fire on all cylinders and come together, they just haven't been able to find it. Asians, though, the complete opposite of that story. They are just gelling, they're playing their game, they're playing their angles, and even with Pika not showing up the way we have seen him. And interestingly enough, Pika playing the Nomad here, so it might indicate a bit of a roster swap, a bit of a role swap here for the Asians, given that Wazoo now playing the Ash. This could be the read they need. Wazoo has been playing well. He's been doing his job phenomenally. And if he can fill that void that Pika unfortunately has left, they might be able to bring this one together.
Well, Wazoo's job might come up pretty soon as the first EE1D has been popped, signaling Asians wanting to enter the building, take some more control of these rooms. They're still yet to really get past the second Sharia gate here to make their way to Long Desk, which I'm sure they would really want. That would push out Echo, that would push out Namni as well, who are both hanging on that side of the map. Kieran as well. He's managed to hide down on the site for quite some time. Could be a little cheeky there with his toxic babes, especially as we get closer and closer to that time limit. So only 50 seconds are left to go. We're still yet to really see any pressure from Asians to anyone below.
Kieran spots the header one. It is Testa being tagged up early, and Visa spots him, finishes him off as well. Wazoo gets taken down by a team kill. Zane messes up. He gets felled as well, punished for his mistakes. Can he find another one? Kieran, he's dropped his third. A one-man hold here means that Pride will secure the round. What a phenomenal start to the second half. Not over yet. They might be able to bring it back, but it is another 5 rounds they need to secure.
Oh, Kieran, man, what a legend. When his team needs him the most, he pops off entirely. He goes down in that. It only takes one attacker to make it onto the site and at least challenge for the plant, but he holds them all off entirely. Even goes in for the cleanup, the flush onto the one man remaining on the ground with a shotgun. So big moves from him, but unfortunately for him and the rest of Pride, we need about 5 more of those, which is a pretty big ask. That said, though, the early stages of their defense, there wasn't anything crazy wrong with it, Panda, right? They actually held Hacuations, at least positionally, quite far back for some time.
Yeah, they were playing those angles. It's an interesting bomb site. Archives tell us there's so much that can go wrong with it. We are going to be heading to press lobby next instead of console meeting. Makes a lot of sense. Console is a rubbish bomb site at the best
Attackers
times.
need to locate and
So
defuse
playing
the
first
bomb.
floor is going to probably favour them just that little bit more. Well, Echo, he's not going to get the full 007 treatment this time. He's got an assist for his troubles. So he's going to deny that inevitability. Pulse coming out again. We saw just how well Wazoo was able to make it work, translating that information into frags for his teammates. Let's see if Echo can achieve the same here.
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible amounts of value on top of the fact that Wazoo was picking up a whole lot of the frags at the same time too, which could show why he's been moved over onto the Ash when he's on the attack. But yeah, for Echo, I think he needs to find this value because he's got a whole lot of teammates with the Nitro cells, not quite as many as we saw Hacuations bringing in. In fact, actually only Pluto, so they're not valuing it as much, at least on this site. But the team play is certainly still there. It's certainly an opportunity. I think, like you said, it does need to come out for them. I think Pride, they're going to be definitely rolling a little bit after that last round where they're hyping up their boy Kieran after he had a pretty monster performance. But hang on, this dirty little drone by Zane here just spelled doom and death for Pluto.
Yeah, Pluto, unfortunately, having a rather lackluster showing so far. Hopefully, if they do make it another round, they can bounce back even more. But Hacuations, this is the same treatment they received last week at the hands of Donut LFO, so I can only imagine they're going to be absolutely stoked if they pull this round out here and secure themselves a 7-1 victory. 2 minutes left in play as we look to find those angles. Oh, no!
He watched it
We
too.
saw that. Echo, he received that treatment at the hands of Pika on the drone, gets run out and absolutely obliterated. This time round, it's Wazoo. He will get his revenge for the first half and gets himself a kill on the board. This is the power of the Pulse. I mean, any tool that they can utilize, any advantage that Pride can find to keep the rounds coming, you're going to use it.
Yeah, we're looking for plays like that from Echo. I think this is exactly what Pride are going to need. They're going to need those kills where they're not really paying too much for it. Those ones where it's just not traded back. Things like Nitro Cell frags. They have also run down the clock a little bit, but Pride, I mean, they're still going to have to go through at least a decent amount of time of Hacuations for their attack. That first Toxic Babe a little early, but Namni actually from the other side of the map will get raindrops down, so a good little play to hold control of the top floor. This is perhaps going to unlock Namni and Elements to roam down a little bit and maybe even change the game as they move down. A disconnect comes in, but that's still 3 attackers remaining for Hacuations.
Next question, was the kill because of the disconnect, or was it something that happened after? Oh my lord, Echo takes the head clean off his Zane, pushes it into a 4 versus 2 here. And Pride, this could be just an incredibly defender-sided console coming into the fray here. Echo makes the decision. He will drop back down into the basement onto the scanner, looking for that information. Kieran's still holding down Public, and, well, it just leaves more questions for the Hacuations. How do they get themselves in? Tester being absolutely ripped apart from above. Tester, not much he can do as his teammate falls. Echo for a 3rd in the round. Seems that Pulse was the key that he needed, and this Tester tries to get behind the wall. Kieran says, not today. Pride, they take themselves a 2nd round in a row going into the half. There is potential that we get the full 6-0 half coming in both ways. We've had the call for a rehost, unfortunately, as raindrops did drop out of the server. That's unfortunate. But I think, yeah, we set it to a pause. We'll wait for him to get back in. We're heading down to basement now, Smite. There is any number of possibilities here. Although it is a hard task for Pride for them to come back here.
Yep, no worries, Wazoo. We do not have to rehost the lobby anymore, I believe. So everyone can just hang on nice and tight. As our lovely observer, Nuttery, is going to make sure everything is all peachy. Of course, Hackulations certainly want to make sure all 5 players are in the lobby here. They need to just get one more round. Yeah, you can let 2 slip by, but this is where you start to worry, right? It only takes a few more things to start losing control. Suddenly you don't feel all of that comfortable anymore. But yeah, for all things considered, Panda, I mean, I'm seeing Pride line up that is holding the attackers nice and at bay and making sure they don't just get free control of rooms.
Yeah, they play that extension, the vertical extension, so very, very well. And Echo chiming in with a couple of frags in that last round, 3 in total. And was pivotal in how that one played out. If he can keep that up, he's bringing the Maestro this time for a basement defense. It feels that maybe Pride are starting to feel themselves in this matchup. Maybe they could bring it back to overtime. Unfortunately, it has taken them to the point of going down 6-0 to get to this point. But look, it might be a case of too little too late.
Yep, so getting there, I mean, it's interesting because now there's a bit of a stop in momentum, right, for both sides. Pride, who definitely needs the momentum, I imagine, but Hackulations, they've now got a moment to kind of take a breath, find out what's going on. Maybe they were memeing the rounds a little hard, or maybe they just got a little too comfortable. Maybe Pride just suddenly started feeling it. But whatever the case may be, Hackulations have a moment to work it out, and they'll be okay. So for Pride, I think, again, they want to keep hold of that momentum just a little bit for sure, as much as they can while they're waiting here. Because, like I said, they're going to need it. They needed to start picking up rounds, honestly, a few rounds ago. But, hey, if you're going to have to win 6 in a row, I mean, winning 2 in a row is not a bad start.
Well, it is, it's the start of the comeback. It does provide at least a platform for them to bring it back even further. The fact that they can win split, they can win press lobby as well. Now they're heading down to the basement, which is the preferred site for the majority of teams, gives you a good indication that they might just be able to do it. They might be able to bring it all the way back, but it is a case of not being able to make a single mistake. We are just waiting on Raindrops to come back in. His internet dropped out, unfortunately, so we're just seeing if he can reconnect. If he can, we won't have to bother with the full rehost, but it's still entirely a possibility. And, well,
you never know sometimes with these lobbies. Sometimes they won't be able to join, and we're happy to go ahead, give them a bit of a rehost. But honestly, I'm just going to say it again because I love it so much. The ability to pause the timer is just so great. The ability to have people reconnect. But that call from Zane is making me worry a little bit because, oh man,
in the rule set, they would have to carry on playing as a 4v5 or give up on the map. Because you can't sub in mid map. That's just how the rules play out. And the fact that his internet has gone down fully is unfortunate. It really is. That's a bit of a yikes. We'll just wait on production and the admins to make the decision whether or not we do maybe have a bit of an extended rehost. But at this stage, if he can't come back, they are just going to have to carry on.
Yeah, I mean, luckily they do have a bit of pause time to, ride this one out as it is a tech pause. So there is a little bit of leeway for that one for sure. It is always rough though. And I've seen this happen probably more times than I really wish I had. Thanks Australia and New Zealand, mostly Australia. But for the internet to run out at a time when you are literally 1 round away from crushing your opponents, getting a really important win, locking in 3 points, and now seeing an opportunity for that all to go down the drain, that's painful, man. That's absolutely painful. We are looking like we're possibly going to give them a few extra minutes to reconnect. I'm just currently in contact with the admins. Don't worry, you guys. And as soon as we find out, we'll get our reading on that one. Otherwise, we might just be jumping back into a 4v5, Panda. And I mean, is that as disastrous as it sounds when you're only 1 round away?
I mean, it is that make or break point. It means you're going to have one less operator in your lineup, which is what's the sacrifice that you make in that situation? Is it your flank watch? Is it, your entries, soft breach, your hard breach? It's not going to be hard breach, so it's going to probably be one of those flex operators like your Sledge, like your Zofia or something like that. So that's unfortunate. It really just is what it is. Unless he can get back in, they will more than likely have to carry on playing this one out in the 4v5. And despite the phenomenal effort they put up, it might come back and swing the other way.
Well, look, Panda, unfortunately, it's looking like we're probably going to have to go to a bit of a break here because, look, we want to give them an opportunity to come back. You don't want to just call it off and go, all right, look, see you later. Sorry, you came close. So we'll give them a chance, give them a bit of a breather, give you guys a chance to cool down a bit because when we come back, it could be the final round of this game. See you guys soon. Welcome back, everyone. We're just getting straight back into the match, just like we promised. We didn't want to make you waste any time through the prep phase, but Panda, what are we looking at here in perhaps the final round for HackUasians?
Well, I mean, look, if we've had a bit of a rehost. They are in a position where Pride, back against the wall, has no chance at dropping around. They need to carry on this momentum that they found in the second half. 2 rounds, but unfortunately it's just not enough. They need to keep going for another 4. And, well, HackUasians 1 round away from closing the entire fucking thing. We are just looking... It's looking good, honestly. HackUasians are looking strong.
Yeah, look, I mean, as far as things go, this is about as close as you want to be able to take it to a win. They managed to get their last player back in. They will open up these doors, of course, to the revelation that they are Sharia gated right off. But look at all the members they have peeking down here. Those things are not quite castle barricades. You can indeed shoot through them. So all these juicy sightlines are now free for the HackUasians to start lighting up. And they've even got the utility to dump right through it and easily make their way in. Surely there's more to this play than just that, though, Panda. They've got a little bit more work to do.
Well, we are getting close to the second half of this round, and they've got angles open into the bomb site itself. They've done a good job so far.
They're all
dealing with this utility, but it's still 10 men in the server. They still have the option to go for these heads-up gunfights. Pride are not out of it by any means. And plus, Echo sitting in security with that older 5.56. They might just be able to hold off for the moment. Still, utility pumping in. Bulletproof defensive utility now gone. They are all primed, ready to explode onto the bomb site here.
Yeah, this is all eggs in one basket, though. I mean, if this approach doesn't quite work out, it can all fall to pieces for HackUasians. So Pride, all they're going to do is hunker on down and apparently just wait for Raindrop's internet to DC. That's the first start for it. But hey, look, Pride, they're going to take what they can get, and they're already in a pretty strong position. Also holding out the 1 player from entry into Piano. That's Pika, who's been looking for entry into it. He'll likely have a lot of air jabs set up, so he can't be run out on. He just needs to win this 1 fight at the windows. They're pinging it out, so they know that he's around here somewhere. But Elements has a few different windows to peek out of, and he's going to use that to his advantage. But this is with only 35 seconds left, and he sees him, spots him out. Can't get the headshot, though. Pika will live, but they've got to go for the execute now.
They are just exploding in. Wazoo, the first one to fall. The Toxic Canister's test is looking to go for that plant. They don't have an idea that he's there, Pluto. Trying to throw the impacts. Will land the first one, and Tester will secure the plant. Kieran swings in. Pluto finds yet another. They have the chance to go for the defuse. Pika playing from above. Will find one, but it's not enough. Elements is there to trade back. Kieran, they have it. They have it secured. Pluto will be the one to hold down the defuse. And unfortunately, Raindrops dropping at the time that he did, that there was no chance for a host, or a rehost, or a pause. And that is a 3rd round now in a row for Pride.
Yeah, one of those rounds where you just have the endless question, like what would that look like if Raindrops was still in there? So attack pause will be called out now by Wazoo. So HackUasians, I can imagine why they're looking to use this one. Hopefully they'll have another opportunity to have Raindrops pop back in, but oh man, yeah, they're not going to be having a whole lot of pause time left, I imagine, either. I mean, this will be their 1 tack pause as well. So I imagine, I wonder if they're trying to use it for that sort of circumstance too. But even then, even if he does come back in, Panda, there's always the opportunity that his internet is just unreliable tonight. And so perhaps they're just talking about what do we do if he does cut out for 1 more round.
Yeah. It's 45 seconds. That's all it is. That's the only time that they have in this tech pause, so they will have to carry on and play out the remainder of the round. And it is what it is. It is a 4v5 that Pride might be able to capitalize on.
I mean, Pride... I mean, no one wants to take a win like this, especially after HackUasians blitzed through the first half of the entire game like that. But look, Pride are going to understand that points are points and you'll take them when you can get them. Obviously, this would be devastating for HackUasians, but let's get real, Panda. We've seen 4v5s be won out before. We've seen them manage to pull off wins like in just a single round, because that's all that really matters here, Panda, is that it is just a single round.
10 seconds left.
And they've just got to find it within the next 3.
5 seconds.
3. It's hard to say whether it would be deserved if they do take it to overtime and win it. But a win is a win regardless of the situation you find yourself in. It's just the way competitive Rainbow Six Siege works. Then accusations will have to carry on regardless in a 4v5. One player less. Like I said, you have to sacrifice one of those ops on the lineup. And with, wow, it's just, it's unfortunate. That's the only way to describe it.
Yeah, no one wants to end up watching something like this, but like I said, it takes one slip up by Pride. I mean, think about how many rounds start with just a random frag, like someone gets caught spawn peeking. Of course, Pride can just be a little more careful in things like that if they want to win. Oh, this drone, it's at least catching the barrels, so they've got a little bit of info here. But this is the sort of stuff that Hackuations need to find. They just need to find people caught out of position, get a kill for free. Maybe they found that onto Elements now as his health bar does drop. And I even see raindrops appearing in the server again, so maybe next round, but let's hold our breath for this one. See if Hackuations can pull out the 4v5. They've taken control of admin, but honestly, that's about it.
Well, they almost find the opener. And Raindrops, unfortunately, with his internet in the state that it is, not totally reliable, so there's a good chance we see him leave again soon. But with a minute 40 left on the clock, Accusations, they are making good strides in towards the bomb site, trying to get that vertical control so they can at least contest for the most part. Drones in, Kieran still holding that angle. I think it's Kieran, could be Pluto. They're both wear similar garb, both SAS operators in their own right. Both run the M590 and SMG11, so it could be either at this stage. But
hold on, this drone.
Time is key.
Drone is also pretty key, as it's getting them a lot of important information on exactly where the defenders are standing. I was wondering perhaps they'd get maybe a few shots through the floor, but they blow it the hell open instead, so maybe you're looking for it from there. Frag comes out, but now it's time to air jab everything off because it's time to lock down on the top floor and see if you can clear out everyone from the A site. But it's really the rooms below. You want to clear them out from below too, so you can actually make the plant there nice and safely. Tester has a long hallway now on lockdown. Circle stairs on lockdown, but not upstairs. That's where he needed to be looking, and Echo will punish him for that. And only 35 seconds left. This plant, I mean, it's got to go off without a hitch, but we know how badly it can go before. First smoke coming out. Pika might at least close it out. He's not even in the fumes, so that's actually a plant completed. Now they just have to hold down the site. Wazoo will kill the first attacker looking to retake, and they're now rushing up through the circle stairs from below. C4 from below, though, takes Pika's life, or at least knocks him down. Toxic Fumes should finish the job, or at the very least challenge him from moving. Zane ripped down Pluto. Hackuations might be doing this, but Wazoo falls down too, and it's all up to Zane. He's got to book it back over to where the diffuser is. He's got a good position. 14 seconds left. The attackers need to get upstairs to find him. They almost got him, but Zane's on a rampage on that triple kill. Only Kieran left. He's trying to get the diffuser. Oh no, he can't actually get the angle, and he has to run down to get him. Will he get it in time? Zane. Oh no. He couldn't get there in Hackuations. They pulled it off.
Despite the best efforts of Pride, they just can't pull it back. The Hackuations just too good on the day, even in a 4v5 situation. Will close it out at a 7-3. That's rough. That is very, very rough, and it gives a lot for the Pride boys to go and take and work on for the coming weeks, but not at all the showing I think they were hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, heartbreaks for sure for those guys. I mean, look, they're going to have to come into this one pretty strongly next week, right? Because they're sitting pretty far down on the leaderboard. A performance like that as well is, I mean, there's no doubt about it, right? It's going to hit them in their team morale. They're going to have to do some real synergy to really pull back the spirits for that one. On the other side, though, Hackuations, a desperately needed win, and I think it's a stomping that they really needed to pull off as well. It came close. I mean, sure, it would have been devastating to lose Raindrops at the end, but hey, look, they pulled it off, and I'm super pleased with them as well.
Yeah, look, it will propel them a little bit further up the leaderboard, and unfortunately, our leaderboard won't be finalized this Playday because if you are paying attention to what's going on social media, there is a patch dropping any moment in the next half hour, so game number 4, the Donut LFO versus Exto match, will be delayed for the moment. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. You got to work around those patches and make do with the situation you are dealt. So the match will be played out at a later date. The patch is going to be pretty significant, so we won't bother trying for it tonight. So make sure you stay tuned on social media. We'll confirm when we know that is going to be played out.
Exactly. Thank you for putting the words right into my mouth there, Panda. But unfortunate that we, do miss out on that because it would have been a good one to close things out. We do get a cheeky little look at the leaderboard. It may not be exactly up to date after that last match. I mean, we did plan on having a whole other match as well, but taking a look at it, as you can see, Hack You Asians, they do have that to a record. So have managed to be actually updated, but not the points, I believe. So for some reason, still sitting down there pretty far on the leaderboard. But regardless, we can still take a look at this and talk about what's happened so far, Panda.
Look, it's been an interesting week. Skyfire, they are sitting clean and clear for the moment. And, well, it's going to be a hard road for anyone to seemingly contest them over the coming weeks. Not quite the most accurate at the moment, given that Big Dogs are currently sitting in second with 8 points. So hopefully we will be able to update that sooner rather than later, but for the moment, this is how close enough the standings are. So Skyfire in first place, Big Dogs in second, Donut LFO currently sitting second for the moment, third for the moment, Fury in fourth, and then Pride Exto tied for fifth. So actually no, so it should be Exto in fifth, Pride in sixth, Swingsman currently sitting in seventh, and Hacky's Asians. Actually, no, so they'll bump up. Look, I don't know what it is at the moment. It's too hard to do maths at this time of night for a caster, but we'll get there in the end.
Yeah, I mean, let's get real. It's what happens when you get a patch thrown at you at the end of the night, and unfortunately for that reason, not only do we have the update to leaderboard, but we also don't get the full game of nights. But just to be clear, so everyone knows, we'd love to put on the last game, but unfortunately there is a scheduled maintenance that is on tonight, which means that even if we wanted to, the game wouldn't be able to be played. We'll be rescheduling it to a later date. Updates on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook to let you know if there will be a rebroadcast, but otherwise you'll have to tune in next week. But Panda, I mean, look, now that we can wrap up a little bit early, take a deep breath and think, is this kind of where we were expecting ourselves to be at the end of, well, I guess the halfway mark? Is everyone where you think they should be?
I mean, given the first few weeks of play, yeah, this is sort of how we expected the standings to play themselves out. Fury probably not quite as high as we expected. Big Dogs, they've clawed it back. They are putting in a solid showing, and Skyfire just standing top of the table. And then it really is sort of just the bottom four teams who is going to break away from the pack, secure themselves that fifth position. Because honestly, I'd be surprised if we saw anyone out of Skyfire, Donut LFO, Big Dogs, and Fury get knocked out of that position for the moment. It really is just who rounds it out in fifth place.
Yeah, it can come right down to some of these points of being earned or lost in overtime. And we're getting a lot of those lately. So there's definitely a lot of action. I feel like we won't even have an answer for fifth place until the very end of the split, or at least until we move into playoffs. However, unfortunately, that's all we can gather for today. So, ladies and gentlemen, and Rainbow Six Siege fans, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Big shout out to the production crew for putting on the show, as well as Nuttery for jumping in as spectator tonight. Always, I love some good eyes on the field. But to all of you at home, thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you all at the same time next week.